Welcome back to another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys here. We got Trevor Dinsmore and Nate Slice here for another good episode. I want to make it clear if you're looking for Matt Canada talk, that is going to happen tonight. Mark the calendar, Tuesday, November 21st, 2023, boys. Uh, Special day in the franchise history. I'll let you boys throw in your thoughts, and then, I'll end it with our discussion on Canada. Whoever wants to go first there.
I'll go first. Since I had a week off, I hope that Trevor doesn't mind me going first. I'm going to keep it short, and then I'll let him take over. Been a long time coming. This is something that is long overdue. However, it's a weird day because this is the first time the Steelers have fired a coordinator or a head coach since 1941. So, been a long time. Stability is the name of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the name of their game. So it feels weird, but it certainly feels pretty good to have this reset. So before we kind of get too hyped up, let's talk about what's going to happen. I think it's only going to be a marginal difference in schematic, but I believe that there will be an improvement in play calling, and I just hope there's a improvement in execution because that's really what wins football games. Like, they've won a lot of games scoring such few points because the defense and special teams have executed good enough and the offense barely good enough in some situations. So, yeah, I really, the name of the game is this guy, I'm glad, is no longer going to be leading our offense. However, our offensive line and Kenny Pickett have to play better. And if they don't, the firing really doesn't mean a whole lot to me because that it really comes down to execution. If a team can know what you're doing 100% of the time, but if you execute better, it didn't matter. So I am incredibly thankful that he's gone, but let's see. I think that this year will be a marginal difference. And then there's one other thing I wanted to throw out there, not about Matt Canada, but you guys said that I'm the star of the show and I was missing last week. I don't know about that. You guys do a great job, but I really do appreciate you guys saying that. And I'm glad to be back. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about Matt Canada. I think Trevor has a lot of good thoughts to add for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, good to have you back there, Nader. We always appreciate your input and insight, and especially into a lot of the local stuff too. I don't cover that nearly as much as you do. So, but yeah, obvious elephant in the room. Matt Canada has been fired. Some of the best news you can wake up to on a Tuesday morning. And believe it or not, I only woke up at 10 this morning because Drew and I were playing Madden until about 3 in the morning. So, yeah, we were rocking that. But I got the text from my dad. First thing I saw this morning, Matt Canada, Gonzola, fired, goodbye. And then, of course, all the press conferences from Mike Tomlin. McAfee covers it. Rich Eisen covers it. First Take covers it. Delves into all the statistics and everything going on. But it's weird to say this is a good day in Steelers history because, I don't ever want to see a man lose his job.
Right.
I never want to see that, but ultimately you have to perform. Yeah. And Matt Canada had not performed, or the offense rather had not performed under Matt Canada. And from what I hear, the two guys that are taking over, Eddie what's his name? Faulkner, former, what was he? The former running backs coach. Now he's going to be the OC. And from my understanding, what Tomlin said, he's going to be taking over the schematic, the planning, all that stuff. But Mike Sullivan, the former QB coach, is now going to be, well, I guess he's still going to be QB coach, but he'll be the one handling the play calls, which, he has done. He has NFL experience doing that with the Giants and the Bucks. So hopefully it'll be a somewhat seamless transition. We'll see. Maybe those more positive voices in the ears of the players. And from what I hear, they they like these guys a lot more than they do Matt Canada. Of course, I'm not in the building. I can't attest to that, but that's the run around the rumor mill and what's being reported in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and other news outlets coming out of Pittsburgh. So hopefully this is a positive step forward. Addition by subtraction in a way, sure. But this was a long time coming. This probably should have happened about 365 days ago, or he probably never should have been hired in the first place. That way we wouldn't have had to go through all this turmoil. But, it is what it is. They finally came to the right decision, and it's a good day. It's a good day. One element that I am kind of confused on it about, and there's conflicting reports on this, whether it was Tomlin's call or whether it was Art Rooney II's call.
Mm-hmm.
Early this morning, it was reported by the Post-Gazette. A guy by the name of Gary Dulac, he initially reported that it was Art's call, Art II, the current owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then Tomlin said in his press conference earlier in the morning that was his call and his call alone. So, yeah, what to believe with that, I'm not sure. Or whether it was, Art II saying, hey, Tomlin, it's time. And then Tomlin coming out and saying that maybe he was fed lines. I'm not sure.
Right.
So that's kind of it's kind of weird the way that all played out, and hopefully that's not a sign of something concerning within the organization. But point being, Matt Canada's gone, and I'm going to have no use for these Canadian flags anymore. I really don't know what I'm going to do with them. Maybe I'll just wave them when I'm listening to the Canadian national anthem before hockey games. I don't know.
Right. No, I'm going to probably go a little off the rails here, boys.
Please.
If you suck at your job, you get fired.
Yes.
That's just how it is. There's some places that, again, I told everybody, and I'm going to have it on my calendar. I already put it in my iPhone calendar. Every year we'll have an anniversary as long as we do this show. We'll have a remembrance of how bad an offense could have been. Remembering this guy. But again, no, it's shitty. It's 2 days before Thanksgiving. I do feel bad for his family. It is what it is. I think a little people sometimes forget these guys are humans. I do a lot of the time. No, I'm not sad about it. Get him the fuck out of there. I've been complaining about it ever since Ben's last season. Hope, the door didn't hit him in the ass. I hope it hit him real fucking nice. But so everybody's over here feeling bad and saying, they should have waited. Okay, let me just tell you, for all the football fans out there, or non-football fans, these statistics, and I'm going to list them off real quick for you boys. This is not NFL pedigree. I don't even think college statistics. Okay, so in the 12 games that we've had, 4.9 plays per drive, 21.4 average yards per drive, minute and 59 seconds on the goddamn field per drive on offense. 8.7% of drives end in a touchdown. That's not even fucking 10%. We're saying under 10. And then 17.9% of drives end in points. That doesn't work. That's not a thing. I'm sorry. If you suck at your job, you get fired. That's what it is. That's what America is. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's sad that Tomlin cannot get past his relationship with the coach, and the owner actually has to take the initiative to do that. They didn't do that in Buffalo. McDermott said, "Hey, this is shit performance. We blew a big game." And I think if Ken Dorsey didn't get fired, boys, Canada would have finished out the season. And I think that, seriously. Do you boys agree with that? I mean, if that guy doesn't get fired in Buffalo.
I mean, that's not too much of a stretch, because if you remember, McDermott and Tomlin, William and Mary alumni, they know each other very well. They have pretty similar philosophies. So yeah, if Dorsey doesn't get fired up in Buffalo, it definitely, I don't want to say it paved the way for the Canada firing. I think hopefully that was gonna happen all on its own. I think we kind of just got sick of it, especially after that horrid performance in Cleveland. I mean, oh Christ, Kenny again, what was it, 110 passing yards, something like that. Warren had her only touchdown, that 74-yard run. It was abysmal. It was very, very, and I know I'm kind of going on a little tangent here, but we left Dan Moore one-on-one with Myles Garrett how many times?
He talked about that. Yeah.
That's not going to work. You got to chip him. You got to block him. You got to undercut him. I don't care if you get flagged for. I don't care if you get flagged for a chop block every play. Don't let him hit Kenny. But no, I think it just came to a boiling point. This was going to happen regardless of the Dorsey firing. But it's easy to make that connection.
Yeah, that's fair to have that assessment. But the Steelers don't fire coaches. The Bills have fired a lot, and
That they have
a lot, and a lot of head coaches and coordinators and GMs. So yeah, I don't think there's much overlap other than, like you said, Trevor. They have a connection at William and Mary. They're both in the AFC. I don't really think it set the stage. I think that this was something that I really think Tomlin was probably the one that like physically fired him, but I think there was probably Kahn and Art Rooney the second saying like, "Come on, man, like Mike, we really have a lot of faith in you, but like this guy has to go, man. Like, I know you're a loyal guy. You really are loyal to your players. You give them second chances. You let them be themselves. Same with some coaches in a lot of regards, but this is a little bit too much, Mike. Like our players are not happy. Naj, is a perfect example. Deontay Johnson's had his own frustrations. George Pickens has had his. Chuk Okorafor as well, who might never play another snap for our team, regardless. Which, whatever. But yeah,
I'm not upset about it.
Just aren't happy. So we gotta try to save this season. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers way. They don't try to make years go to waste. They really don't believe in a rebuild. They believe in plug and play and just keep on going. And with 6 wins, 3 or 4 more might get you a playoff spot. So we couldn't waste any more time. And I'm just glad that they decided to do this. And moving forward, it'll give us clarity on if Kenny Pickett's the guy or not, because everybody can say, oh, well, Kenny stinks. But look who's calling him the plays. Look who's scheming for him. Now he is less of an excuse. So time for him to step up and also the offensive line. I'm not oblivious to those guys not being a great unit at the moment, but time for Kenny to really step up. He has the lowest rate of passes per touchdown, like in the history of the game. Like he's throwing a touchdown pass
under 2%.
1.9% of his passes go for touchdowns. It's the worst in the history of the league. You got to be better, Ken. So let's figure it out, buddy.
No, he's got to be better too. And Drew, I'll let you go into some detail on this, but I know Kenny's to blame too. He wasn't great, but I'll let you touch on that, then I can get into specifics.
Yeah, no, and just throw one more thing out there: 24-19-1 with Canada as our coordinator, and since in 36 games we did not gain 400 yards. I mean, that's just not good statistics. Now with Kenny, I told Trevor last night, I'm not going easy on him this week. That was bullshit. And I told you the pass, Trevor. The pass that pissed me off was Pickens is right on the sideline. All you had to do was a little further. But honest to God, he throws right fucking behind him. If that guy's not a freak athlete, he wouldn't have caught that ball. That's when it set me off. And then Deontay miscommunication. I think it's on Kenny. I don't know what the hell we're doing. You're throwing it 20 yards past. It's just no. We can't have that shit. And I know we're putting this guy, and I know a lot of guys. You can never follow Hall of Famer, and I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt with that, and also the shit caller. But the last week's game, no, 126 fucking yards. I'm not going to accept that. No, I'm not. That's why I'm not wearing his fucking jersey this week. I'm pissed off with him. But Trevor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. The Steelers net passing yards 77 this past week, averaging 3.8 yards per pass. Yeah. Absolutely horrendous. Kenny's rating was in the shitter. QBR was 34.7, passer rating 62.5. And our leading receiver, Pickens, 4 for 38 yards. That's just not going to cut it. And I agree with you, Drew, on that throw to Pickens. That was, if they're playing tight man coverage, that's a pick six.
Or here's the other thing: you're putting the guy in danger. Yeah, he's lucky he didn't get his ass.
That's it too. That's it too. That's why he's missing wide open throws. He's missing wide open reads. He can't get the ball to receivers downfield, especially when it's cold. I mean, Christ, if it's cooler than 60 degrees, he's going to miss a lot of people. He's going to miss a lot of 10+ yard targets. So he's got 7 games, like Nate said. He's got 7 games because this QB class coming up, I wouldn't be surprised if Omar Khan steps in and says, hey, let's get one of these guys. At the very least, let's put a plug up Kenny's ass, give him some competition at the starting spot. Let's not just crown this guy, okay? Let's not just crown this quarterback that's been mediocre at best and I guess clutch in the fourth quarter. I think only one quarterback since his tenure has a better passer rating in the quarter. But the problem is there are 4 quarters in an NFL game. It's not just the fourth quarter. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, Omar Khan, if he steps in and gets in, everybody's ear in that organization, hey, this is a loaded QB class. Let's try and find another guy.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point, Trevor. I think that the 2024 quarterback class for the NFL has the potential to be one of the all-time greats.
It could stack up. It could stack up against 83.
Right, in 2004.
Yes.
However, I think that this quarterback class is coming at the absolute best time that it could possibly come. The offense right now in the NFL is not great, and it's a lot to do with the quarterbacks not being able to man the huddle the same way, make the same audibles and calls that previously were happening. It's a lot of micromanagement by coordinators and players. It's a lot of defensive, issues. And then I also think that, an extended season has a partial thing, a shortened preseason has a partial way of it. But the number one thing that I think is really a big part of it is the lackluster quarterback play that's happening right now in the National Football League. Stroud is arguably a top 5 to 8 quarterback right now in the NFL, and he is a rookie. And I don't think many people can debate that he's top 5 to 8 quarterback in the league right now. He is that good, but that shows you how many bad quarterbacks there are right now. The generation that we grew up with the Rodgers, I know he's still playing, but barely. Mannings, Brady, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, they're gone. And they haven't replaced them at the same rate in which that's been needed. But I think the 2024 class is the class that has the potential to do it. There are 15 quarterbacks that I think could play in the National Football League, maybe 20, for several years, not just like as starters, but I'm saying these guys could hang around in the National Football League for a long time if they are given the chance to do so. I really think that the 2024 class is something that the Pittsburgh Steelers should take a serious examination in if Kenny really does not improve in these next 7 games. Because let's face it, Trubisky, Rudolph, and Pickett, I think they're all career backups. I really do. And I think they're all on our roster right now. But let's see how he does. Let's give him a fair shake with a new coordinator and see how the kid does, because he deserves that at least. He was a first rounder, we think, for a reason, but I think he's got to be on a short leash.
Yes. And Nate, you kind of touched on some of the, scoring being down, lackluster QB play. I want to get into Tom Brady's comments later in this program after we do some pick 'em. I have some pretty detailed information for you guys, and I want to have an in-depth conversation on his comments. But that was all I had on the whole state of the Steelers. They also made some key signings over these last couple of days. Miles Jack, Blake Martinez, they brought those guys into the practice squad. They also signed Eric Rowe and Trenton Thompson, who actually had a pretty decent game on Sunday against the Browns. Made a couple of key tackles, a couple of key pass deflections. He did good. He did. But other than that, I'm all good with the Steelers. I was very much as much as I wanted to celebrate today. A couple of group chats I was in got me in a real contemplative mood, and I know we had to do the podcast tonight, so I'm like, you know what, I better come with some material.
Right. No,
I'm going to add one final thing.
Yes.
It's a very interesting time in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. We fired Matt Canada.
Yep.
We hired a plumber, and we hired a Pokemon card con man in the same day. I would never have had that on my bingo card to start the year. I don't know about you guys, but
no.
The fact of the matter is our linebacker depth and safety and corner depth is really poor right now. So we got to give some guys some auditions here, man. They deserve it. I don't care if Blake Martinez was out of the NFL or Miles Jack was out of the NFL this year. They got to get a crack, man. We need some depth there. We got to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to cover, and we got to be able to have some bodies in there. So as much as I don't think they should be hiring a Pokemon con man and a plumber off the street, we're desperate, and in desperate times calls for desperate measures. So we're just
And
having a week.
This defense has proven that they can plug and play guys. Landon Roberts has been a lot better than anyone thought he could be, especially at that lead middle linebacker spot. And we're still 6th in the league in scoring. I mean, we're giving up a lot of yards. I think we're 25th-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood in terms of yards given up, but we're 6th in scoring. And that's the only stat that I care about on defense.
Right. Bend don't break, man. That's what's the name of the game.
Bend don't break. Give up field goals, force red zone turnovers.
Yep.
Right. Just have to throw out their final point for me, and then we'll get over to more NFL news. When Tomlin was asked in his press conference about Miles Jack, real quick to say no comment. He's on the practice squad. Do you boys see him in there this week? Is that why he's so quick to say shit? Because he doesn't want people to scheme for him, or what the hell do you think that was?
Could be.
Real quick, like it was like that. He said, "No, I know."
I think they got to see what kind of shape this guy's in. He hasn't been working out. He's been plumbing, man. He's like been a plumber, and the dude was like not sure he was going to play. Then the Eagles took him. Then he retired from the Eagles, and then a couple weeks into it, he's like, I kind of missed this. And now he's back with the Steelers after, even though they cut him. Like, I think they want to see where the guy's at.
Okay.
I don't think they want to promise him anything, and I don't think that he should be promised anything. This guy was cut for a reason. He wasn't great last year. He was okay. We really haven't had great middle linebacker play consistently since Ryan Shazier. That still haunts me, not just his injury, but like the fact that he was so talented. And like, sometimes I didn't even realize how talented he was when he was playing for us.
Exceptional.
But Miles Jack, I think he's going to get a shot, not to play, but he's going to get a shot to see what he can still do, because this dude was a first-round pick, former Pro Bowler. This guy used to be able to play, so we'll see how he does. And he knows defensive scheme. He was there last year, and he was, calling out the plays out of the huddle, him and Minka. So we'll see how he does.
Right. And before we'll go over other news here. I just want to apologize to the Bills Mafia for last week's comments. Josh Allen comes out, breaks Mahomes' record, 206 total touchdowns, passing and rushing. And I don't want to give him too much credit, because Zach Wilson's probably one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. Just terrible. The guy can't even trot on the field backwards without falling. If that doesn't give you any indication, he should probably not be on. Should not be on the field.
That was pretty funny.
I guess. What are they doing with that Zach Wilson? Because me and Trevor were talking. Nick, do you have any inkling on his contract? What the hell they can do here with him?
Yeah, so he can go. He'll be under contract if they don't release him. He's on a 4-year deal, rookie contract. They could accept his option for a 5th season, which I'm pretty confident in saying they're not going to do. Although you never know, because Zach Wilson has gotten every shot in the world to play, probably too many. Right now, his status is inactive, I believe, for Sunday's game. Tim Boyle, even though I don't know how Tim Boyle is going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Again, it's unbelievable. His statistics in his NFL career, even though they're small, are very bad. And his college stats were absolutely terrible too for Division I quarterback.
He had more interceptions and touchdowns in college.
Right. And he somehow has worked.
And he made it to the NFL.
Good for him. He must be really good in the film room, and he must be a really good team. And he must be able to do something or other. But, I'm just saying, I don't think Tim Boyle is the guy either. However, Trevor Siemian is also getting elevated from the practice squad to be active, while Zach becomes the 4th string emergency quarterback, I believe. Well, 3rd string, I guess, emergency quarterback. So, yeah, he's totally benched. They probably will not use him unless they absolutely have to. But yeah, I'm shocked that Trevor Siemian's not even getting a shot over Tim Boyle. But I don't know. They just don't like to score points with the New York Jets. Robert Saleh is the defensive coach. It took him a long time to get Zach Wilson out of there. He's the only quarterback, I believe, that's a starter that has less passing touchdowns than Kenny Pickett. He has 5. Pickett has 6. And to put it in perspective, Tommy DeVito, who has started 1 game, or 2 games maybe, has 5. Yeah. He has 5. And so does Zach Wilson, who's played in literally every single game. So if that's not all telling, then I don't know what is. But that's the status of Zach. He's in trouble. He might be working for his uncle's aviation company here pretty soon. Good old JetBlue.
Right. And then I got to touch on before pickups here. Brock Purdy is perfect against the Buccaneers. They go on a 3-game skid, boys, and they come back, win back-to-back. 49ers are okay. I don't think anybody needs to worry about them. There was a lot of chirping going on there with that 3-game losing streak. But I think the 49ers are still Super Bowl contenders. I don't see. Would you boys have any issue with that? Or okay.
Nope. No, absolutely
long,
not.
long as Debo's on the field. On the field.
Yep. Debo, McCaffrey on the field with that offensive line and that loaded defense. Even if they lost Troy Polamalu's nephew, who I can never pronounce his name, Ofunga, I believe is how it's pronounced, or very close to that.
Yeah.
Ofunga, yeah. Yep. They lost him to a non-contact torn ACL injury, which sucks. But the guys that they have around, to fill in and support that hole will certainly make up for it. So, the 49ers are going to be just fine. They scored less than 17 points in all those losses. That's all it is. They score 17 or more, they're in good shape. That's really all it takes.
Right.
So they're fine. They're going to be fine.
And then overreaction reality. I got 3 of them this week, boys. I hope you might agree with me. You might disagree. I can't believe I'm absolutely saying this. I'm actually sick to my fucking stomach after this loss. The Browns will make the playoffs. That is reality. If the Steelers don't get their shit together. Do you guys agree with that or no?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I'm on board.
Their defense is stacked.
As much as I hate to say it. Yeah, literally three teams from the AFC North could make the playoffs.
Okay.
And the Browns defense, like you were gonna say there, Nate. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, they're gonna carry them to the playoffs. They carried Dorian Thompson-Robinson to a win in the NFL. I think they'll be just fine.
Okay. Yeah, still pissed off about that. I got a lot of
I know. Yeah.
And you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go off the rails a little bit because I think people are looking for intensity. When they brought up that the type of dogs he had, I love dogs. Okay, but we're getting there's so much. It's so boring of a game, and the Steelers can't do absolutely nothing against this guy. That you have to hype him up even more to tell us what kind of breeds the 3 different dogs he has. That's when I said, "What the fuck are we doing on the field right now?" That the commentators are literally having to pull this kind of shit to talk about because there's nothing going on in the game. That whatever really fucked up my Sunday afternoon. Really, I love dogs. I love all kinds, but I don't know if anybody caught on to that. But that's not good.
I heard it. I heard it. Yeah, I forget the breeds of the dogs, but yeah.
His favorite. I'm going to sub Pisano's in here. His favorite sub there is from Pisano's. Did you know that? Who gives a shit? That's how bad the game is. Whatever. But anyways, Deron Bland is the defensive player of the year. He just he just tied the record for pick sixes, boys. Is that reality or overreaction? I'm saying reality. He's at least a contender there with tying that record for the Cowboys.
Yeah, no, I got you. I don't know. DPOY lately been its pass rushers type of award. And I think that's going to ring true for this year. You got TJ Watt in there, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons. It's almost, who has the most sacks, who has the most pressures, who's able to disrupt the game the most. And there's some element, obviously a lot of element to skill when it comes to pick sixes and interceptions, but there's also a bit of an element of, sometimes a quarterback misses the throw, sometimes a quarterback misses a read, receiver misses a route, and it comes right to you. And honestly, I have not watched film on that particular individual, so I can't say edgewise. But my guess is it would be a pass rusher. So I'll say overreaction for now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Trevor on that too. I think it's an overreaction at this exact moment. I'm not saying he's out of the woodwork. I'm not saying he's out of the running at all. He very well could be. It's a great record to break, but yeah, there's a lot of a lot of things that go into that record. More games, more passing attempts in the league than previously, so there's all that stuff too. But yeah, it's been primarily a pass rusher edge guy sort of award the last few years. I really think that Max Crosby has a great case. This dude plays on like 98% of the snaps. He's the heart and soul of the Raiders that are, fighting and clawing against all these odds with the Josh McDaniels thing and Antonio Pierce not having a lot of coaching experience, especially as a head coach, and this rejuvenized roster that really wants to win. He's the heart and soul of this team. So I really think that Max Crosby has a good shot at it. And like you said, Trevor, I mean, you can't rule out guys like TJ Watt, Myles Garrett as well. And then Fred Warner is always a good pick too. Like, he's an absolute stud for the 49ers. He's their heart and soul on defense. He can do everything. He can rush, he can cover, he can stop the run. He sees things that other players don't. So, I think right now, slight overreaction, but we can certainly reevaluate and talk about it here in a couple weeks again.
Okay. And then final one here.
I will say too. I was going to say Hassan Reddick is making a hell of a case. He's making a hell of a push for that as well. I know he's down there. Yeah. He's down there a little bit. I think he's the 10th favorite, but I believe he had a couple sacks against the Chiefs, and he's going to continue climbing that.
Yeah. No, one thing I have to say, and I know Nate and me agree, Trevor, I think also, Brandon Staley should be fired this week. That is reality. They have 5 losses by 3 or fewer points this season. Nobody else in the NFL has more than 2. This guy cannot fucking coach. I don't know. And I've said it before. You're wasting a fucking, probably you had Drew Brees, you had Phillip Rivers. I think this guy, Dan Fouts, this guy is probably your generation quarterback, and you are just fucking wasting it away with this stooge of a coach. Why aren't they pulling the plug? What do you guys think here? What the hell does it have to take?
So, I don't get it, dude. You shouldn't have had a job after last playoffs.
Right.
That's a joke.
Right.
Their defense has names and nothing else. I don't care who you have. I don't give a damn. If they can't freaking stop a nosebleed, who cares? They can have Derwin James. They can have Asante Samuel Jr. They can have Bosa. They can have Khalil Mack. They can have J.C. Jackson, who they had earlier in the season. You can't stop them. You can't freaking stop them.
Right.
You got to come up with stops and killing them. This offense has not been quite as good as last year, but they're still pretty dang good.
Mm-hmm.
I know they've had injuries at wide receiver, and obviously Eckler was out, but you still have a generational guy in Herbert. Brandon Staley is so lucky that he is a head coach still. He was super sassy with reporters after that game. He's going to be calling the defense now and taking an even more rigid approach to it. And it's like, what is that going to do, dude? Like, it's not working. And now you're down Joey Bosa for the rest of the season, most likely.
Oh,
good freaking luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Ankle injury. Yep.
Yeah. Good luck with that. This guy should, DB, to use one of your words, he's a stooge.
He is.
And Rex Ryan, I totally agree with him. Rex Ryan calls him a Division III coach. I agree. Go back to college. That's what you're meant for. He's incompetent. He's not right for this. Get out of college, man. And
I forgot he said that.
It was great. He was absolutely right. And I hate to be that critical of someone, but we've known this from the jump. It hasn't taken long to figure out this guy. I agree with Rex, And here's the scary part about him getting out of there. I've been seeing rumors that Bill Belichick is going to part ways or be fired by the Patriots, and either Washington or the Los Angeles Chargers are the 2 favorites to land him. I could see both of them landing him. The one thing that I'm not sure of, the Chargers never seem to get a culture changer. They get coaches that fit their mediocrity. They're 9-8 and they're no defense and big points game styles, and they never fix it. And Washington hasn't had stability at head coach since Gibbs.
Right.
And they both need a guy like this, a culture changer, bad. So if Belichick is gone, he definitely needs to be pursued by both of these organizations because he's got the track record of being able to do this and do it at a high level, and he's a disciplinarian. I know that's not really the way that the NFL goes these days, but these are two teams that freaking need some discipline bad because they got talent, but they're just not playing up to the standard that they should be.
Right. Right. I think the last coach that they actually had, Nate, that was worthwhile was Marty Schottenheimer. That's
Absolutely.
it. That's the only guy, and one of the greatest coaches, I think.
Right. A Western PA guy. He went to Pitt. He had a great coaching career and playing career. Yep. And then they gave him the shortest leash ever. He was 14-2, and he lost one freaking playoff game. And they're like, see ya. And it's like, they just had like arguably the best team of all time.
Right.
And they lost one playoff game. It's bigger than Marty Schottenheimer. It really was. That was absolutely pathetic that he got fired for that. God rest his soul. He was a good coach, I think.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. And one more thing I have to throw in here, and Trevor. I don't know if you said anything yet on this, and I feel like I keep interrupting you.
Sorry, Trevor.
Yeah. Let me just throw.
No. That's good. Go ahead.
They have 14 losses by 3 or fewer points since 2020, and that is also in a time span of 3 minutes or 3 minutes or less in regulation or in overtime. That shows me, and for football watchers or non-football watchers out there, that shows me that a guy that cannot manage the fucking game. He just falls apart when it's time to crunch time, and he just shits himself. And he just tries to look towards the coordinators to save his ass. That's not good. That's not good product.
Why do you think Nathaniel Hackett's a coordinator again?
Right.
And look, you guys.
Yeah,
you can make a damn nice living being a career-long coordinator.
Yeah.
These guys in college, some of them make a couple mil, like a mil or two, and in the NFL, they make pretty dang comparable money to that. Right. There's no problem with being a coordinator. Some people are not meant for the moments. No. They're not. They're absolutely not meant for it. And Brandon Staley is one of them. There's no question. So go back to, whatever University of Wisconsin branch campus is going to hire you to win the national championship. Because for those that don't know, the University of Wisconsin system has a zillion schools, and all of them are really good at sports for some freaking unfathomable reason. So take your pick at which one's going to pick him up and plug him in as head coach or OC, and he'll be like the greatest coach ever if they would just listen to Rex and go to that level, because that's where you need to go.
Right. Yeah, Trevor, what's your input here? I'm sorry, I keep throwing shit.
Y'all have covered the Staley drama. I wanted to talk about the Chiefs and the Eagles game too, but Staley just keeps proving, he is who we think he is, and that is a choke artist.
Yep. Yeah. No, we can't figure it out. But Trevor, if you want to, you go ahead with your thing before the pick'ems.
Yeah, no, I wanted to talk about the Chiefs game real quick, and talk about the Chiefs in general, because they seem to be in a weird state on offense right now. And I verified this last night. In their last 4 games, they have 7 points in the second half. 7. Absolutely brutal. Bear in mind, they are 2-2 in those games, but most of the time, 7 second half points not going to get it done for you. And Nate, I did follow up on the whole drops stat that we discussed in one of our group chats earlier this week. Chiefs have a league leading 25 dropped passes this season. And I forget exactly how many Valdez-Scantling has. I know he has a few key ones. Kelsey oddly had a couple last night as well. Watson had a couple last night, but the most critical of those being the bomb that Mahomes threw for MVS, and he dropped it in the end zone. You're taught if you get 2 hands on it, you got to catch it. Each one of those drops that I saw from the Chiefs, a guy got 2 hands on it, couldn't catch it. It was just very, very abysmal. Credit to the Eagles though; they won another ugly game, and they're 9-1. And they're 9-1 for the 5th time since '66. And in each of those seasons in which they started 9-1, they've made it to the Super Bowl. So that bodes well for my Super Bowl pick. Patrick Mahomes, no more than 240 passing yards in his last 3 games, and in his last 2 games, he's been under 200. And his QBR, his quarterback rating, has been under 50 in his last 3 games. I don't know of a 3-week stretch where Mahomes has done that in his career. I can tell you that much. And he only averaged 4.1 yards per attempt against the Philadelphia Eagles. So for those that want to doubt the Eagles defense, be my guest.
Right.
Just the same, we know this we know this offense is very dependent on the Kelce Mahomes connection. Kelce has been under 60 receiving yards in this 3-game stretch in which the Kansas City Chiefs have scored 0 second half points. Kelce under 60 yards and only has 1 touchdown in those 3 weeks. And Patrick Mahomes also threw a key interception in the end zone last night. In his career, and I verified this, he has a 154-12 touchdown to interception ratio in the red zone. Guy doesn't throw too many red zone interceptions, I can tell you that much. But that was one of 2 red zone turnovers for the Chiefs, the other being a Kelce fumble at the start of the 4th quarter. Just key mistakes down the stretch for the Chiefs, being unable to get into the end zone in the second half. And yeah, the Eagles took advantage. Eagles were actually outgained by about 100 yards, but opportunistic turnovers, they helped out quite a bit for them. And the Eagles themselves, they weren't too great as we expected. It was a bit more of a defensive contest. The Eagles actually had 5 3-and-outs on the day. 5 3-and-outs, and I think only 3 of those drives went past 20 yards. Those are the 3 touchdown drives. So, very interesting game. Definitely not to the caliber of the Super Bowl that we saw this past winter. But if that's a Super Bowl preview and the Eagles won, I'll take it because they're my pick to win it all, and I got some money on it. So, I'd like to make a little bit of money too. I just wanted to touch on the Chiefs too. I don't recall the 3-game stretch where they were this inept in the second half on offense. Yeah, and it's largely due to the fact a lot of their receivers, they're either dropping passes or they can't get open. And anyone not named Travis Kelce, I should say, it shows you how much they're missing the likes of Tyreek Hill right now. As much as, Juju Smith-Schuster came in there after Tyreek left and they still went and won a Super Bowl. Mahomes won MVP. But now the chickens have come to roost.
Right.
And the Chiefs, they're struggling. Can they ride the ship? Recent history tells me yes. But to look that bad in the second half against a Super Bowl caliber team doesn't bode well for their chances come late January.
No, I agree. They look like shit, Nate. In the Mahomes era, I don't remember them playing this bad.
No, they haven't. This is the worst that they've played in the Reid Mahomes era. I'm here for it. It's time for them to kind of get knocked down a peg.
I agree.
I'm all about it. Not that I'm.
I didn't say I didn't like it.
Yeah. Not that I'm rooting for the Eagles to do well. I'm not really exactly an Eagles fan. I'm more of a Western PA guy through and through. For those that haven't caught on to that over the last year or so, I was all about the Chiefs losing. I was actually screaming at my TV for reasons that were stupid. I was screaming because they just would not catch the ball.
No.
Catch
so
the
many
ball.
Drop passes. So many
Watson
drop
had
passes.
2 or 3 drops. Kelce had a drop or 2. MVS, he has like the most drops in the history of the league on catchable balls past 40 yards or something. I mean, that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I have this here.
It's
league leading 6 drops on passes of 30 yards or more.
Catch the ball.
Nader.
All right, Lima Swede. Come on. This is insane.
Oh, God.
Come on.
I just got hit with anxiety right there, Nate. Jesus Christ, I got a heart palpitation going on. Holy shit.
Limas. Him and freaking Sammy Watkins. Jesus.
Oh,
Oh,
and Quentin,
geez.
Quentin Johnston's doing it for the Chargers too.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you guys.
Jesus.
Not looking good.
You barely
Not
get
looking
asked
good.
to block. Like, just catch the damn thing, please. Holy
Right.
Toledo, man.
Yeah. No, but I believe for the folks out there and for me and Nate, Trevor has a Thanksgiving trivia. I don't want to steal your lightning there.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. All good. Yeah, I really, really wanted to touch on the Chiefs there because, yeah, like I said, I'd never seen them play this bad in the Reed era. If the Reed Mahomes era, I should say. But yes, we got a beautiful slate of Thanksgiving games this week. But before we get into those and we get into the betting side of it, the pick'em side of it, wanted to do a little trivia with you guys, just because, why not? It's been a minute since we've done trivia, and there's no better thing to do trivia about than Thanksgiving football. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. So I'll start it off with a bit of a hot one here, and oddly, well, I'm not going to reveal it, but it's fringe. It's a fringe Thanksgiving trivia question. John Madden popularized the term turducken, which of course is a cross between turkey and a duck. When did he first coin that phrase?
Oh God, he's coming with the heat
Talking
tonight.
year?
Huh? Year. I'll take year.
Talking
I have
year?
I have specifics, but yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious, dude.
For some
I would
reason,
have
this
no
number's coming to
freaking
my
clue.
mind. 1982.
Oh no. Much
Okay.
later.
It's got to be later than that.
December 1st, 1996, in a Rams Saints game, he coined the term turducken. Wasn't even on Thanksgiving game. That's why I said it was
it's
a
a week
fringe
after.
Thanksgiving question. Yeah.
Really odd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very
I
odd.
figured 90s, but didn't know when.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe that was even on Monday Night Football. It wasn't even on Thursday night. So,
Dude, DB and you weren't even alive. I was barely alive when this when that was coined.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, I wasn't born until about a year and a half later. So,
Yeah. 97. Yeah. Holy shit.
kind of cool. Which two quarterbacks have thrown 6 touchdowns on Thanksgiving Day? I think one of them you'll get very easily. One of them is the other one's a little bit tougher.
Troy Aikman.
And
Troy Aikman.
no, there's two quarterbacks thrown
Were you
6
saying
touchdowns.
Were you saying no to me or DB?
Both of you.
Oh, Stafford. No. Oh,
Okay.
shit. Okay.
Dak Prescott probably is one of them.
Nope.
Oh,
wow.
Think early 2000s.
Favre.
Nope.
Oh,
Really?
Romo.
Nope. We keep going down the line.
Not
Peyton.
Romo either.
Peyton was
Okay.
one of them. The
Okay.
other one's a little bit tougher. Think 70s. Think 70s, and not top tier quarterbacks.
Roger
either.
Staubach.
Not quite. Think
Stabler.
a little bit
not
lower
Roger
tier.
Staubach.
Lower tier than Stabler as well. This one will throw you for a loop too. I'll give you 5 more seconds.
Terry's not on there, so I don't fucking know.
No.
Perry Bradshaw.
No. Bob Greasy in a
Heck
game
no.
against the Cardinals in 1977 threw 6 touchdowns. Wbob Greasy.
Who the hell did he play for?
Dolphins.
Oh,
Okay.
Trevor,
Dolphins.
were you saying in one game?
Oh, in one game, yes. Sorry. Did I not specify that? I probably
okay,
should've.
yeah. Because
one game.
Touchdowns in one game.
Yeah, I kept throwing out every Cowboys quarterback, and I was trying to think of the Lions quarterbacks, but there's been so few of them that have been worth a damn.
Gotcha.
Right,
Yeah,
so,
no, I
Yeah,
apologize. I could have phrased that question a little better, but
That's all right.
yeah.
no, Bob Greasy, Super Bowl champ, baby. I mean, he was a pretty decent one.
All right. Little dig at the Cowboys here, just because it's Thanksgiving, it's the Cowboys. We have to dig at them, and plus it's just football season, so I have to dig at the Cowboys. Who famously tried to recover a blocked kick in the 1993 Thanksgiving game between the Cowboys and Dolphins, and it cost the Cowboys the game?
Is it Levon Lent?
Leon Lett.
Wow.
Leon Lett.
Yeah.
Leon
Wow.
Lett.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll throw another softball here to you. What does the MVP of the Thanksgiving games receive at the end of the game?
Drumstick.
A drumstick. Yeah.
Big old roasted drumstick. Love it. Which two teams are undefeated on Thanksgiving? One of them's 2-0. One of them's 1-0.
The Steelers just won.
No.
Right? No.
No,
Oh.
they lost to the Lions Thanksgiving in V8.
Fuck. Yeah, that's all down the challenge. Damn it.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like the Bills, maybe?
Close. Think teams that don't play on Thanksgiving too often.
Yeah, that's who I'm trying to think. Because, like, the Cowboys, Lions play every year. The Bears have played a lot. The Vikings have played a lot. The
49ers?
Giants.
No. 49ers are 3-2-1 on Thanksgiving.
Jets, no.
I'm gonna say the Jacksonville Jaguars first,
Well,
like, because
that would be
when would they ever play?
No. So it's the Ravens who won in 2011 and 2013. They're 2-0.
Okay.
And the Texans who won in 2012. And that's it.
Oh, wow.
They've not played on Thanksgiving otherwise.
Well, you don't want the Bradfords on Thanksgiving.
No, yeah. A couple teams with a bit of a history here. Bears and Lions, or no, excuse me. Not Bears, Packers and Lions. There's a famous game in 1962 called the Thanksgiving Day Massacre, named after a pretty big historical event that I really didn't research before this, but Lions, Packers during the Thanksgiving Day Massacre. Lions won this game. Bart Starr was sacked how many times during this game? And that's why the game gets its name.
I think it's over 20, isn't it?
No. How many times did Bart Starr get sacked?
It's like 13 or something like that.
11.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I knew it was. I was between 11 or 13.
Oh wow.
11 is a lot. That's a lot. Oh
yeah.
Justin Fields got that week 1 last year. He got 10 or 11. Yikes.
Oh,
I'd stay down after 8. Fuck that.
I think I just.
it was the 60s. You had to be tough as nails, man.
Yeah, they're smoking cigs and drinking beer at halftime. That's fucking...
Yeah, it's not now where if a guy just falls on you, roughing the passer.
They ashed their cigarettes in their hands. That's how fucking tough those guys were.
Couple of last ones here. When was the first official Thanksgiving game played, and who played in it?
Oh, Nate, you gotta know. Nate knows that.
Oh no,
no,
it was early days of football. Early days of football.
Fuck, 1912.
The NFL didn't exist till 1920.
Well, no, I didn't know if we.
Oh no, first official NFL Thanksgiving.
NFL, okay.
Oh, yeah, NFL.
30. 1930.
I'm thinking it's after World War II.
Oh yeah, that's
No, it is before.
Before? Wow.
It is before.
Oh.
Wow.
These are good fucking questions,
4,
Trevor.
3, 2.
25.
I'll say like 1936.
1934. Lions beat the undefeated Bears. Or no, excuse me. The undefeated Bears beat the Lions. My apologies.
No shit.
Yeah, Bears went on to win the NFL championship that year. What other one did I have here? Oh, which team never played a Thanksgiving game? There's only one. And Nate, you mentioned their name already.
Jaguars.
Thank God.
Bingo.
I was pretty close. I knew that they had played in very few, if any, at all. So.
Well, I guess I got a couple more here. Most all-time touchdown receptions on Thanksgiving.
Michael Irvin?
Nope.
Calvin Johnson.
Yes. He has 11.
Yeah.
And
That's
record for most touchdowns on a Thanksgiving Day game. Old. Think way back.
Most touchdowns. Tony
Dorsett? Or older than that?
Oh, way old. Like, I'm talking early. You remember who held the record for touchdowns before Kamara tied it?
Oh. No.
Ernie Nevers in 1929. It was before the official the Thanksgiving Day thing became a tradition.
Jeez. Holy man.
And then, you brought up these names already. Most all-time passing touchdowns on Thanksgiving. These are two names you've mentioned both already.
Probably Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman.
There is a Cowboy on here. Yep. And the other one is no.
No.
Think who plays every year.
Oh, fart! No, it wasn't. No.
Yeah, so Dak, Romo, Staubach, and Dak, Romo, Staubach.
Fuck, he got me here. I don't.
Stafford.
Lions. Yeah.
Stafford boys.
Oh, Stafford.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
No. I could see.
I forgot that they had a quarterback once.
Right.
Right. No, absolutely.
Shit beat out of him. Holy shit.
A couple other interesting facts for you. No Thanksgiving games were played from 41 to 44, World War II. And then Lions have actually played in the most Thanksgiving Day games. They have both the most wins and the most losses on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Just as we all expected.
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual gameplay for this year, for Thanksgiving 2023, we have a lot of big spreads, guys. A lot of big spreads. Lions and Packers get the first slate there. Lions favored by 7.5. Then it'll be the Cowboys and Commandos. Cowboys favored by 10.5. 49ers and Seahawks in the late slate. Their 49ers are favored by 7. So all by 7+ here. So, and the Niners, funny you mentioned them earlier, Drew. They don't really, like I said, they don't play on Thanksgiving that often. They're 3-2-1 on Thanksgiving. Ironically, the last time they played on Thanksgiving, and it was the last time Seattle actually played on Thanksgiving as well, 2014. Niners lost to Seattle 19-3. I mean, of course, we're talking Legion of Boom era, was still hanging on there.
Yeah.
Lions 37-44-2 all time on Thanksgiving, but this millennium they are 6-17. So not very good. Not very good. Then the Cowboys 32-22-1, but they had lost 3 straight prior to beating the Giants last year on Thanksgiving. Wow. So yeah, a lot of big numbers for these spreads, fellas. What do we think?
I'm going Lions.
I really like the 49ers by more than 7.
Yeah.
I like the Commanders to cover against the Cowboys. It's a divisional game. The Commanders have no business being in the game, but they are so hard to predict.
They will find a way. And the Giants stayed in the game with the Cowboys last year, if that gives you any indication.
Yeah. But the Giants were really good last year. If you remember,
that is true. That's true. They won a playoff game last year. I always forget that.
And the Lions have been winning, but haven't been playing their best ball. So I'm going to say with them always being the early game, I think that the Packers will keep it closer than people think. But I think 49ers are the ones that will have the over because Seattle's down. Kenneth Walker, Geno is hurt. They're in shambles right now. They got a lot of injuries.
They got it tough. And the 49ers are humming right now. So.
Right. They're on fire. So
yeah, right. Yeah. So straight up, we'll go quick. So we got Lions, Packers. Quick, just pick them.
Lions.
Cowboys, Washington.
Dallas
all the way.
Dallas as well. And then Niners, Seahawks.
San Fran.
San Fran. So all favorites. It's sounding like Cowboys to not cover against Washington, Lions to not cover against Green Bay, and then 49ers to cover against Seattle. Yeah. That seems to be the consensus. Yeah, I'm on board with all of that. The only one I might disagree with is I think the Lions could cover 7.5. And of course that line might move too. I believe that was 6.5 earlier in the week and it moved. A lot of heavy money going to the Lions. So I might stay away from that game, but we'll see. We'll see. If I bet on anything, I'll bet on props, and I'll probably bet on Jahmyr Gibbs to get another touchdown because he's been lighting it up lately.
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Then we'll peel the. Actually, we'll talk about the Saturday, the Black Friday game, first ever Black Friday game. We got the Dolphins and the Jets, and another game where the Jets are put in a prime time spot. They're the only team. They're the only game going on. They're at the I believe they're at the Dolphins. Yes, they're in. Or no, I think Dolphins are a 9.5-point road favorite.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. And I'm pulling up FanDuel.
Yeah, Dolphins are a 9.5 point. Or actually, the line moved to 10 since we started this podcast. So, yeah, and that's according to ESPN Bet. ESPN's got their own thing going on with the sportsbook now. So, good for them, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, Miami to cover? Yes, no, maybe so.
I'm taking the spread with them. It's going to be manslaughter. It's going to be awful. It's going to be an awful game. That Boyle, fuck. 3 interceptions, Nate. If we could do props on interception, this guy's just going to get murked. I mean, it's just going to be terrible. I feel bad for him.
I'd be intrigued to see that prop if it's at 1.5 or if it's just at a half.
And I'll be clear too. I forget. Brian Flores is just he already runs the boys' dogs after him. The dogs are literally just going to be chasing down that Boyle. I mean, it's not going to be good.
We saw what they did to Aiden O'Connell last week, forced 3 interceptions on the guy.
Yeah.
I think the Jets will cover because the Dolphins are so bad on the road. And I think they're going to be physical enough with those receivers, and they're going to grind it out. They're going to try to win possession, and a Chaney, he's hurt again.
Yep.
The Dolphins didn't close out last game well. I'm going to pick the Dolphins to win, but I think that the Jets would cover 10 or 10.5. I don't really have a reason why. I just think that they'll be super physical. Hopefully he'll be rejuvenized with Boyle, even though he's not very good. But I think that the Dolphins are bad on the road. Tyreek has a weird hand issue, so I'm going to go with the Jets to cover, but I'm going to pick the Dolphins to win the game.
I'm with you, but I will take the Dolphins in a big old smoke show. Jets don't have a prayer in hell in this one. I hate to say it, and it's ultimately not going to be worth it for Rodgers to aim to come back at the end of December here. I just rest up for next season, Aaron. Hope to see you in a Jets uniform very soon again. Maybe you'll be able to turn it around next year, and maybe they'll feature the Jets on Hard Knocks again. We'll see.
Jesus,
I'd love to see that. But for reference to Miami 6-4 against the spread, Jets 4-5-1 against the spread. So it's not outside the realm of the possibility that the Jets cover. But I just don't see it happening. I think this is a nice little get right game for the Dolphins offense. They can start humming again because they've been slowing up these last few weeks.
Oh man, they've been bad.
Oddly enough, then on it. They've not been good. They only scored 20 points against the Raiders.
The Jets receivers had 9 receiving yards. They had 9 receiving yards. Come on. Get them the ball, please.
Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Garrett Wilson's very frustrated with that team right now. Not a good time. But anyway, on to the Sunday slate here, and I'll rip the Band-Aid off real quick. Pittsburgh favored by a point on the road against Jake Browning, Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, Steelers, new coordinator, new feel for the offense, maybe. And Joe Burrow, unfortunately, last game against the Ravens, lost for the season due to a wrist injury. So we won't be playing the typical late season Bengals we normally see.
I'm so confident, Trevor. I take a spread at 4. I'll do alternate spread on that. I take 4. I would not touch Kenny's props. I would be okay with 200 plus passing.
No.
You would not do 200 plus passing?
No.
You don't think they're going to do shit?
No.
No.
Okay.
They're going to run the ball.
Yep.
Well,
They're on the
then
ball.
take Jalen Warren. Well, you could go with Jalen Warren props if you want to. I would do Najee. That guy's
You'd be
head's in there.
you'd be stupid not to. Or Najee. If you could bet on Najee Harris to have more carries than Jalen Warren, I'd do it.
Well, that would be
I
nice.
don't think you can.
Right. Makes no sense, but yeah.
That just keep playing into our hands a little bit too much for people that know that team all too well.
Right.
But yeah, Nader, what do we think? Lurs, Bengals.
I'm going Steelers. I think they'll cover the 1 point spread. But yeah, I'm not touching Kenny Pickett anything. He's not going to be ready to just come out and let it rip and suddenly just gain a bunch of accuracy over 6 days.
Right.
No, I'll take the Steelers to win. They got to have this one. The Jake Browning, I think, has thrown like 20 career passes. Their defense has not been great. They've been one of the worst running offenses in the league as well this year, Cincinnati has. So I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think that this is going to light the fire similar to what it did with the Raiders, and I think the Steelers will get the win.
Great.
Yeah, I dig it. If I can go alt spread 3.5, I'm gonna do it. I may throw that in a little same game parlay action. Jalen Warren's been a heat-seeking missile for the end zone lately. Might as well throw Jalen Warren anytime touchdown in there as well. But yeah, going to be another, typical Steeler game. Grind it out and barely win.
Yes.
Just the way it's going to be, especially with the state of our injured defense as well. But another division matchup. Jags-Texans. Spread is to the Jags -1.5, and the over under on this game, excuse me while I scroll down to it, 48.5. So decent amount of points here. And the line actually did move Jaguars -2 since we started this program. We know what CJ Stroud has done. We know what the Jaguars are doing. Both teams very hot coming into this thing. And there's a lot more riding on this than a lot of people anticipated at this point. So what do we think?
Don't touch it as a better.
No.
Don't touch it.
No.
But we got pick here. I don't know what you're seeing on ESPN, Trevor, but Jaguars are favored right now in the money line. I don't agree with that. I'm saying Texans are going to win this game. CJ Stroud's is too hot. No, Texans.
I'm going to go Jags. I think they've kind of prepared for this game here. They've been more tested. They've waited their turn. The Texans have not. Stroud had 3 interceptions. He did not play well in the second half this past week. So I'm going to go with the Jags. I think that they're ready for this moment. But the Texans' key to victory is if Stroud can start throwing all over the yard and put up some points, that's the path to victory. And I hate to put it on one person, but that's how this team wins.
Yeah, that just what I was going to say, Nate. I'm on the Jaguars just because they're a much more well-balanced team, both on offense and the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, I know it's a road spot, but hey, Jags are 4-0 on the road this year. They know how to go on the road. They know how to beat teams. So yeah, I'm all over the Jags. I don't know what kind of props I would touch for this one, just because it can go so many different ways. But maybe throw in a little ETN prop, or maybe throw in a Trevor Lawrence rushing touchdown prop. I'd like that, as well as CJ Stroud to go over on his touchdowns. I think this will be a nice high-scoring game for the fans. Weather's supposed to be pretty good too, so. Oh, well, plus, NRG has a retractable roof, so if the weather's bad, they can just close the roof and free the offenses, as they say.
Right.
Okay, what else do I have here? Kind of a weird one. Buccaneers Colts, Indianapolis favored by 2.5, over under 43.5. Two very mixed bag teams here. Colts are 1-4 at home. Buccaneers are 2-3 on the road. Another tough one to pick, boys. And there's a reason I went with these tight spread type of games.
Yeah, this is a really hard game. I think it's a really difficult game to predict, but I'm going to go with the Colts. I mean, I haven't had luck with betting with either of these teams this year. They've been really hard to predict.
Agreed.
So I'm going to go with the Colts. I think that they run the football better. And I don't know. I think they're going to be pesky. They're going to hang around the AFC playoff picture. I think that the Buccaneers are starting to fade. And yeah, I'm just going to go with the Colts. I don't really have much rationale, but just kind of like them in this one for no real reason.
Trevor, important game for the Bucs. But every game, I'm looking back at their games here. They lose the Bills by 6, lose the Texans by 2, fucking steamroll the Titans, and then they lose to the 49ers by 13. I'm going to go Bucs. I don't know why, but again, if you're looking for a game to bet on, this is
No.
I mean, anything
No,
that's like so close like this, Trevor, like with the minus.
Oh yeah.
And
No, I know. I know.
Jesus.
It doesn't. It doesn't help that both of these teams have a winning record against the spread either. Bucks are 7-3 against the spread. Colts are 6-4. So good luck betting this one.
I mean, I thought last week was tough.
Well, it's going to be tough from here on out because you're going to have a lot of division games. You're going to have a lot of playoff caliber type of games, and a lot more is going to be at stake. As weird as it sounds, should be in theory there's equal amounts at stake every game, but these are feel much more weighty as we get closer to the playoffs. But I'll take Indianapolis here for no other reason other than picking the home team when in doubt. So
yeah,
I don't know how. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. I'm not touching this game with a 10-foot pole from a betting side, except for maybe Mike Evans' touchdown. That seems to be the only thing that clicks.
Yep.
So
yeah.
But no, leaving that one alone. Then a nice little close your eyes special here. Pats Giants. Pats are actually a 3-point road favorite in this game, and the over/under absolutely abysmal, 33.5. I believe that's the lowest in the NFL this season. So I'm intrigued to hear two things on this. Team you think's going to win, and what's the over/under situation? What's going to hit with that?
Oh, Jesus. Okay, Mac Jones starting, right? Because I just completely ignore the Patriots news.
I believe so.
Are they starting Mac Jones?
That's what I got to see here.
I am honestly not sure.
No, he's not ready to name a fucking quarterback yet. Thanks, Bill. I mean that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's insane.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
DeVito, though. God damn it! This one. Wow.
And for reference to New England has a 3-7 over record. The Giants have a 3-8 over record, meaning the under is hit most of the time for these guys.
It's going to be a dumpster
like I said,
fire.
close your eyes special of the week.
I could see this game being a 10-13 game. Just ugly, stale. If you're watching it, just literally rip your eyeballs out. This is probably the worst the NFL could produce for a game. What do you got for the over/under over there, Trevor?
33.5.
33.5 is the same on there. Okay. Yeah, I'd take the under on that.
33.5.
And it's in the Meadowlands. It's Giants at home. Shit. Yep. Nate, what are you doing here? I'll do that. I gave you the under, but I'm
going to take the over, and I think they're going to get like 35 points. And I'm going to take the Giants because I keep picking the Patriots and they keep losing. I'm just so tired of it.
I hate the Patriots. I'll go with the Giants money line, and I do a caveat on that. Trevor Barkley gets a touchdown.
Yeah, Danny DeVito has been pretty good at quarterback.
Yeah.
Not Danny.
That he has. I think Saquon had a receiving touchdown. Did he not?
Yeah, they played well. I think he had. Yeah, I mean, he has as many passing touchdowns this year. DeVito does as Zach Wilson does, and one less than Kenny Pickett. And yeah, he's got this offense looking like the best it has all season, which is crazy to think.
Mm-hmm. He threw this baby up when he threw that touchdown.
Yeah.
I said, all right,
Well,
hey.
Well, that's Italian, baby.
I gotta go. I love it. All right.
Nate, to quote a TikToker that we both like there, Nader. Now that's fucking Italian.
His freaking his mother still folds his clothes.
No, I'll take the Giants here.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Ron Rivera is the only coach this year to lose to a quarterback whose mom still folds his clothes. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yeah, the dude makes $44,000. He makes $44,000 a week, and he lives at home. But like, it's he lives with his parents. Like it is New Jersey, New York City. It's very expensive, and
Right.
hey, like the way the economy is right now, man, we gotta stick together. So I get it. Don't branch out on her. Who knows how long Tommy DeVito has got a ride here, man, with this guaranteed money. So
Right.
be smart about it, man. Brock Purdy's got a roommate. He does it too. SoCal, man, Silicon Valley, that's expensive living. So
It's true.
I get it. Guys got to do what they got to do.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
I just
So
don't, I don't
sounds
know.
like G-men all the way, and we're mixed on the over/under. I'll break the tie with the under. I'll take the under. G-men though.
It's just gonna be ugly, dude. God.
No, I know. That's why I brought it up.
and I'm making such
From
a big
ugly
deal.
to. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. I don't mean to take.
Go ahead.
The quarterback debate. I don't know why it doesn't matter. You're getting the same product with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. I don't know why I was making such a big deal of that. They both are garbage.
They're both pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah. Sorry, Trevor. Go ahead.
No, that's all good. I apologize if I'm coming on a delay here. My internet's being a little spotty again. I'm back in my parents' place, and everybody's got their freaking devices on, so that's how it's going to be, I guess.
Yeah.
From ugly to interesting NFC South matchup: Saints Falcons. Atlanta favored by a point. Over under 42.5. It seems the Falcons and the Falcons players hate Arthur Smith's guts right now. But the Saints, still trying to figure out their offense, still trying to figure out who they are as a team. So what do we think? What do we think here, fellas? And I know this is another one of those you might not touch with a 10-foot pole. But from a pick-em perspective, I just want to hear what you guys have to say.
I'm picking New Orleans. I cannot stand having to pick an Atlanta Falcons game. They make no damn sense. I think Desmond Ritter's starting again. I don't get it. This team makes no freaking sense. I really hope they reconsider Arthur Smith as their head coach. This guy just doesn't get it. He just is not using the guys that he has. He's got a ton of talent, and they don't use it. It's time to consider making a move. So maybe if they lose in New Orleans, like I think they will, then they'll consider it even more. So I'm going to go with the Saints.
Going with the Saints, and I told you last night, Trevor, Arthur Smith, Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I collect cards and shit. When he got drafted, just to put this into perspective, it's not just affecting his game on the field. His rookie card graded went for like 75. Mm-hmm. It's now worth $15.
Oh man!
Like this guy. Like everybody had a high ceiling for this guy, and they just completely missed. It's not that his ability can't do it; they just don't know what the fuck they're doing with him. It's sad. It's sad. It's depressing. Yeah, I got Saints on that, Trevor.
Saints. Oh yeah, I'm all over the Saints as well. I think they have too tough a defense for Desmond Ritter's development right now. Desmond Ridder going to be the starter for the remainder of the season, according to Arthur Smith. That's if Arthur Smith doesn't get fired before the end of the season. So we'll kind of see where it goes with that. But when in doubt, I go with defense, and the Saints have a much better defense than the Falcons. So yeah, I'll take the Saints. I'll take the Saints all the way. And I had the Saints ranked pretty high in a confidence pool this week, so I'm pulling for them.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. One of the matchups of the week here, heading into the 4:25 slate, Bills-Eagles. Eagles, obviously the hottest team in the NFL right now, 9-1. They're 4-0 at home, coming off a victory against the Chiefs. But the Bills starting to figure it out themselves, coming off a pretty big victory, again, albeit against the Jets. I know it was against the Jets, but they actually look like they know what they were doing without Ken Dorsey. So what do we think here? Do the Bills keep it close? The Eagles still go to 10-1. For reference, spread 3.5 toward Philly, over under 48.5. And I want to see the ATS records here. Let me pull those up real quick. I know they can't be too promising for Buffalo, but that's just kind of how things go. Let me pull those up. I'll let you guys pick.
Let me just throw this out here. Two fan bases I cannot stand. It's going to be
Philly. I can't wait but yeah.
I cannot wait to see the parking lot. If I was at that game, I would. If I had an opportunity to go to this game, I wouldn't go. But I'd love whatever. But I'd say this is going to be the. I can't believe I'm saying this. The Bills are going to upset. I think the Bills win. I think the Bills win. Josh got a haircut. He still threw that interception last week. Haley Steinfeld.
Only the one.
Yeah, only one. Haley Steinfeld flew into Buffalo Airport up there and met with him over the weekend. Maybe made him in a better mood, and we're going to go in the Lincoln and kick some ass. So, go Bills.
I'm with DB. I'm with DB, man. I've been waiting for the Eagles through this little brutal stretch in their schedule to lose one. They squeaked it out last night. Like if MVS could catch the freaking ball, or Justin Watson could catch the ball, or Kelsey doesn't fumble, or Mahomes doesn't throw an interception, they just keep scooting by. They've scooted by the Commanders a couple times. They scooted by the Chiefs. They scooted by a couple teams. I think the Bills need this game bad. They really need this game really bad. So
agreed.
I'm going to go with the Bills in an upset. But I'm not oblivious to how good the Eagles are. I'm just picking it because I just have a feeling. No real logic behind it, but sometimes you just get a feeling, and I have one about the Bills this week.
Fair enough. And for reference, the ATS records I was trying to bring up: Philadelphia 6-2-2 ATS, Buffalo 4-7. And I'm gonna roll with that. I'm gonna pick the Eagles at home here. Although I think the Bills have a good shot. They have a good shot at covering that spread too. I think this could be a really, really close game. But the Eagles defense is what did it for me this past week. Again, there was all those drop balls by the Chiefs, but weirdly, that's kind of to be expected from them now. And Eagles defense, they did enough to win the game. That's what they do. That's what they're doing this season. That's what they've done all season. Eagles to go to 10-1 and 5-0 at home. I'll be the lone dissenter in this group.
I just got to throw out there too, fellas. Just the way that I don't think the Eagles, the Bills were just. I know it's against. I mean, they were doing it against the Jets defense. But just they were firing on all cylinders. I mean, Josh was throwing the ball. Shakir got involved. I think that's how you pronounce his name. That guy. So you got to account for in Kincaid. You got to account for four decent motherfuckers catching the ball on you. And is Slay out or is Slay playing? Is he still in? Slay Jr.? Darius Slay.
I think he's playing.
Okay. Give me one moment to take a look at that.
Because
I think he's playing, but I'm with you. A lot of good weapons.
And if they're firing, man, shit. If the Chiefs caught the fucking ball last night,
I know
they would have two losses.
Right.
In the Bills, they don't have a lot of drop passes.
Yeah.
It's just fucking Josh throwing it to the wrong team. I mean, and all
can't close a game.
The Chiefs could be 9-1 if they didn't drop as many passes as they do.
Right.
Darius Slay not on the injury report, so he is playing.
Okay. So that's a factor. I mean, that guy's a home wrecker. So, but yeah, Diggs ain't. I wouldn't do anything on Diggs because last week. I mean, the guy can't get over 40+ yards. I don't know what the hell's going on with him, but whatever. He's not even looking his way. That's a sad
No.
reality.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
He was like a sure thing every week. He was like anytime touchdown, one of the highest guys that you'd be picking, and he was like getting around 100 yards every game. And the last month, he just
Pom poms. That's all he has is pom poms.
yeah, he's not been getting the ball.
Pom-poms.
No. Yeah. But any other games, Trevor?
Sorry, my screen just went blank here. Damn it! This is
No,
that
you're good,
internet. This is that internet.
You're
there it is.
good.
Okay.
Hey, we're
Yeah,
having a
real
good
quick. I
time.
want to fire these ones off. I want to. Cool, buddy. Cool. We'll fire these ones off real quick. Browns, Broncos, and Rams, Cardinals.
Ooh, shit.
Give them to me back to back.
I'm gonna go Denver and Arizona.
I feel comfortable with that. That's good. That's good stuff there, Nate. I'm good with that.
I apologize. Nate cut out. What did he say?
Denver and Arizona is who I'm taking. Cleveland scooted by the skin of their teeth last
Denver and
week.
Arizona.
Denver's the hottest team in the NFL. Arizona, I think that this is a divisional game that's winnable for them. The Rams should not have won last week. Jason Myers missed a kick pretty badly. I know it was a 50-plus yarder, but yeah, the Seahawks blew that game in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Arizona. I think that Kyler Murray's got them in a slightly better spot. So I'm going to go with the hot team, Denver, and then Arizona, and then probably an upset.
Agree with you.
I'll dissent on one of those. I'll go Browns and Cards. Both very close games, though. One, the spread is 2.5. The other one, there isn't a spread. So there you go. Chiefs, Raiders. I kind of touched on the state of the Chiefs earlier, and the Raiders gave Miami a run for their money, if not for turnovers last week. Kansas City favored by 9 on the road.
Well, going Chiefs. You got the spread 9.5 over there, Trevor?
9, according to ESPN Bet. Might be 9.5 other places, yeah.
I take the spread. I'm watching that game primarily just to watch Crosby and Mahomes get into it because I always enjoy them bitching at each other.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer, though. I have the Chiefs. Oh.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
We lose Nate? What's going on here?
Shit. He's back.
Getting the spinning wheel of death on him.
Yep. There we go.
Oh, is he back? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You're good, boys.
I don't know. I don't understand. My Wi-Fi just kicked me off.
It's okay.
I don't know what you guys talked about. I think you were talking about Raiders Chiefs.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs. They need this game bad. I think the
Correct.
Raiders are not a great football team. O'Connell is not really that great. He's all right. He'll stick around the league for a long time, but he's a career backup to me. Chiefs got to have this game bad. So Denver's closing on them, and the AFC is really competitive. So I think the Chiefs are going to win. They got to get this one for sure.
Yeah.
I'm with you both. Chiefs all the way and to cover. They need a convincing win in the worst way possible. Just kind of for people to restore their faith in them. Hopefully they can, as I alluded to earlier, score some second half points and properly close out a game. And I think that'll restore the faith in Chiefs Kingdom that they can potentially make another Super Bowl. But if they let this one slip, then, I'll be very, very concerned about the state of that state of that organization, at least for this year. Long term, I don't know. They have to do a little more digging on the long term side of things, but short term, I'd be very concerned.
Yeah.
Sunday nighter, Ravens Chargers. Chargers chargered last week, and the Ravens got a big division win against the Bengals. We know how good Lamar is. We know how good Herbert is. We know how bad Drew Staley is. Line is 3.5 to Baltimore. They are a 3.5 point road favorite, over under 46.5. Ravens 4-1 on the road, Chargers 2-3 at home.
Ravens. it's an easy one to
Ravens.
me. Like, don't overthink this one, guys. Like, if the Chargers win this game,
Yeah.
that's probably one of the best wins that they've had in a long time. So, I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think that the Chargers defense is in for a game. Good luck covering all those guys.
Well, as much as I want the goddamn Ravens to lose, you got to shut down Lamar. And I don't know how the Steelers were able to do that. Drop passes played a factor. But I want the fucking Chargers to win, but I say Ravens. But, I mean, that's a close game here. That lines are close here, Trevor. The lines are very close on FanDuel.
On that one, yeah. Just because the Ravens have to travel to SoFi and play indoors. I guess
there's no Mark Andrews probably.
Right, yeah, he got hurt on that drop hip tackle, and I'm going to get into some of that when we talk about what Brady said.
I'm going Chargers.
You are going Chargers?
Andrews
oh, you switched on me.
I forgot about Andrews being out. Yep, Chargers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Regardless if Andrews is out, I'm picking the Ratbirds, unfortunately. I don't know if they'll cover that 3-point spread, but I know they have, a good enough kicker to win it in the final seconds if it comes down to that.
Right.
But I hope it's decently high scoring. I hope we get to see an entertaining game. Hope we get to see an entertaining passing game as well, because Lamar's been better in that category, and OBJ actually had his first 100-yard game last week. So we'll see if that trend is able to continue. Then last one of the week, the Pièce de Résistance Monday Nighter, Bears Vikings. Minnesota favored by 3.5 in this one. Over unders 43.5. Justin Fields will be starting for the Bears, and of course Josh Dobbs for the Vikings. Bears are 1-5 on the road. Vikings 2-3 at home.
Vikings all the way.
Another tight one.
Yep.
I know.
Going with the Vikings. I think Justin Fields is like 6-28 since taking over as the starting quarterback. He hasn't been very good in terms of win-loss. The dude can put up some insane running numbers. He's got a great arm, but he just can't put it together, and the team can't put it together around him. So I'm going with the Vikings. Joshua Dobbs finally came down to earth a little bit, but the Vikings are still one of the hotter teams in the NFL. I am going to say one thing about the Vikings. I think that we could have seen Justin Jefferson play his last game as a Minnesota Viking, and I don't think people want to hear that. I think he's milking this injury out pretty bad.
Yeah.
That he's in a contract situation. I really think that he's going to be a Cincinnati Bengal next year. I really do. I think that they can ship off some people and reunite Burrow, Jefferson, and Chase and be off to the races, because we're seeing what Miami's doing right now, and they're fun to watch, and they put up points. And I think that with the right circumstances, Burrow would renegotiate, Chase would take a pay cut, and Jefferson would take slightly less to be on a team like that, especially with Kirk Cousins probably not coming back. So I think that Justin Jefferson may have played his last game as a Viking. I think he's milking this out.
And
Minnesota in this game.
If Jefferson's going to come back, doesn't he have to do it like within these next 2 games because of the short-term IR situation or whatever it is?
Yep, the clock's ticking for him.
So,
You think he would do that, Nate?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and like you said, it may be ticking for him on as a Minnesota Vikings. So
that's the ugly side of the football, buddy.
Yep. I never would have thought that of the guy going in, but I think he was available to play, but he's like, I will not come back until I'm on 100%. And it's like, okay, I get that, and I respect that from some people, but this team has completely turned the season around, and you haven't been a part of it. And like, you would think you'd be hustling to get back, even if you're 90%, and even if you took 50% of the snaps. So, I don't really care. I think Justin Jefferson's an incredible talent. It makes no difference to me. But yeah, I just thought those comments were interesting. And sure, I get it from a fantasy manager perspective. He's sick of people DMing him saying, "Get back for my team. I need you for my playoff run." But I don't really think he wants to come back. I don't think there's really much incentive for him. I don't think this team can win a Super Bowl. And I think that he might be out of there, and Kirk Cousins too next year for sure.
Yeah, he looks real happy on the fucking sidelines.
Can't say I disagree with you on that one there, Nader. Yeah. Yeah.
He's jumping with the
that,
boys.
I don't think I gave a pick.
Down.
I'll take the Vikings as well.
Right. Yeah. When they score a touchdown, though, Trevor Nate, he's jumping with the boys. So, okay, if you're really that fucking hurt, bud, I don't think you'd be jumping, 5 inches off the ground, whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
That's ugly side. I don't like that shit.
Oh yeah.
How about you just roll over then? Just roll over.
You can.
Don't go on the sideline. Nate, if I want to hear guys' opinion on this. Trevor has seen it from the darkest sides of me on Madden. If I'm a coach and I know if I get inkling of that, I wouldn't have him on the fucking sideline because I feel like that turns into that kind of kills your motive of, hey, we lost our starting quarterback here, but hey, boys, I mean, the season's not done. We get this guy in here. He's the second coming. We're doing okay. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want him on the fucking sideline if I get that inkling. Do you disagree with that? Or that's, I guess, I've never coached or been at that level, but that kind of pisses me off. If you can play, then play, man. Jesus.
Yeah. I'm not trying to accuse him of anything, but I think
I agree with you.
I think there's a chance that this might be being milked.
Yeah.
A little bit. So I don't know.
Okay.
He should be, if he's part of the team, he should be on the sideline,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't really have a huge opinion on it. I just, if it's true and he's milking this, I'm disappointed because he's one of the best players in the league. There's no denying it.
Right. Right. Rodgers pissed off because people want to see Justin Jefferson on the field. Right. So it's kind of but yeah.
Yeah. See, you can tell I'm lagging. I keep interrupting you guys.
No, you're good, Trevor. We'll get through it, bud. But I didn't know if we want to swing over.
That's
big news.
Oh yeah, Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me get into what he said. So he did an interview on the Stephen A. show. I believe it was yesterday morning, and he talked a lot about the NFL product, and overall kind of gave a mini State of the Union on the NFL. Says he sees a lot of mediocrity in the NFL today across the board. Mediocrity in terms of the product that's put on the field, coaching, development of players, rule changes, accountability, pretty much across the board. He criticized the NFL, and he really didn't. He did come off a little bit as, oh, this is how it was when I was in the league, but he brought up a lot of good points here too. So specifically on the rules side of things, he's seeing teams complain about guys getting hurt because of shady rules, like the whole hip drop thing. Harbaugh was complaining about that. Andrews got hurt on it. And unfortunately, Jordan Travis, a Heisman candidate for FSU, got hurt on the similar type of play this past week.
Yes.
He's seeing that, and he's seeing the likes of John Harbaugh complain about it to the Bengals, to the media, to the NFL at large, when he's thinking you need to be training your players to protect themselves in these sorts of situations. It's on the coaches and it's on, personnel to figure this out and figure out how your guys can protect themselves. Because the rules, we know the rules are massively favored to the offense as it is. You can't hit high, you can't hit low. Right. Apparently you might not be able to hip drop next season, which I don't know how you don't. Like, it seems to be very stupid to me. You can't have a hip drop tackle. You might as well just throw flags on them at that point. But Yeah, and I want to read this out for you guys here. He said, and I quote, "You hear coaches complaining about their own player being tackled and not necessarily why don't they talk about their player and how to protect himself. We used to work on the fundamentals of those things all the time. Now they're just going to be regulated." And I don't want to say that, a lot of players, especially those on the offensive side of the ball, they're being coddled, but they are. We know the rules favor them already, and it's just going to keep going in that direction until we put flags on these guys, which we might have to before, the 2028 Olympics, just to train them for that. But we'll see. He also went on to criticize college programs, citing coach turnover and, of course, player turnover as well with the NIL, transfer portal, all that as reasons for lack of player development. Players coming into the league, they don't have as strong a grasp as to what they need to do because they weren't in a pro system like he was back in Michigan in the late 90s. But yeah, and overall, he just he sees a lot of the blame game going on, a lot of pointing fingers. And like I said, the Harbaughs of the world complaining that, oh, he hip dropped my guy and now he's out for the year, things of that nature. But yeah, and to kind of get into the statistics on the penalty side of things, I wanted to focus on that. And I know that side of things gets beaten like a dead horse, but I did want to hone in on that for a little bit now. Since the advent of the roughing the passer rule back in 2022, there was 154 roughing the passer calls in 2022. It's down, in 2021 was when the rule was put in play. Then in 2022, it was down to 93. Same thing with DPI in 2022. We had 233 defensive pass interference calls, but the year before that, we had 208. But in 2023, we're on pace for 294.
Wow.
It's quite a few. So things seem to be shifting, but of course, they're still in the favors of the offense here. And to your point, Nate, and this is more toward the product that's on the field. And of course, all these rules, a lot of them are to protect passers. They're to protect the passing game, promote passing. That's what the casual fan wants to see, right? If you're just a casual fan of sports, you like to see a lot of scoring. You like to be entertained. And same thing with the NFL. You like to see a lot of scoring. You like to see a lot of passing yards, electric plays. But unfortunately, we've been on a downtick in terms of passing yards in these last 3 years. So 2021, quarterbacks averaged 237 yards per game among the top 32 passers in the league. That mark dropped to 228 in 2022, and now it's hovering around that same spot in 2023. Then on the scoring side of things, like you said, Nate, scoring's been dropping for 4 years. In 2020, averaging nearly 25 points a game, an average NFL team was. Then in 2021, that dropped to 23. Then in 2022, that dropped to 22. And now we're at 21.7. We're on pace for that this year. And of course, this year we can point to a lot of the QB injuries that have occurred. Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, Anthony Richardson, just to name a few. Of course, Kyler Murray out for a good bulk of the year to this point, and Aaron Rodgers. But to kind of get to and to your point on the drop passes there, Nate, in 2021, 858 drop passes league-wide. In 2022, 949. We're currently on pace for 790 this season. We have 488 drop passes so far this season, on pace for 790. So again, to the point of Brady saying these guys, with the transfer portal and underdevelopment and collegiate athletics, coaching turnover, what have you, not a whole lot of stability, not a whole lot of room for development. And that's unfortunately leading to underprepared guys at the NFL level. More on the product side of things, average television viewership of an NFL game went from 17.1 million in 2021 to about 16.7 in 22. So clearly fans are a little less interested in what the hell's going on with the NFL due to everything that I've just kind of been talking about. And then Super Bowl ratings last year, actually not last year, the year before, were at an all-time low, and they've recently bounced back to the similar levels that they were at back in 1993. So Brady, of course, he knows what he's talking about, but I think this is going to spark a serious conversation amongst fans, amongst analysts, and amongst the NFL as a whole. How are we going to better this product? How are we going to make sure guys get prepared at the collegiate level, bring them up to pro standards sooner? That way we can make it a lot easier of a transition. And plus, the NFL didn't really help themselves by extending the season to 17 games.
Yep.
More injuries just happen, and it's a very mixed bag of what's going on in the NFL right now in terms of I'm all for player safety, absolutely all for player safety, but at what point do you take player safety too far and diminish the quality of the product? And I think that's a lot of what Brady's getting at here. But of course, like I said, he also kind of attacked. He didn't really attack them. He alluded to coaches at the collegiate level, underdeveloping players that are brought up to the pro level. Hopefully that doesn't happen with this 2024 QB class with all the hype that they're getting. But at the same time, you have a lot of guys that were in college for a while, and there might be a reason that they were in college for a while. So
yep.
We'll just kind of see what happens with that there. But what do you guys think on Brady's comments here? Is he right? Is he wrong? Do we disagree with some of his points? Is he just being an old retired guy saying, "Oh, this was something here"?
I was gearing up this entire time he was talking. So if you want to go, got a huge fucking spiel. I wrote down stuff. I want to let you take it because I'm going to go on a journey that I don't know if anybody is expected. So, you bring them in easy, and I'll finish them.
Yeah. I think Tom is right. I think that the product has slipped since going to 17 games. I think that there's been a lot less prepared rookies coming in. I said that there's always exceptions here and there. Yes. I'm also with him. I think that there are control freaks that are coaches that give players less control of an offense, less control of a defense, less control of the game planning. And it's leading to a lot more miscommunication, talking bad publicly in the media, controversies like that. Because I've never seen so many in recent years with these players, coaches disconnect. There would be firings, but I don't think the players would nearly say as much as they are now. There's a big disconnect there. And sure, social media, it influences that. Reporters are more inclined to ask these tougher questions nowadays for ratings and, clicks and stuff for their own sort of things. But, at what point do you just say, hey, we got to protect these guys every single play of every single down, and we can't hit them anymore? Because it's really just they take like a little bit of freedom like every year, just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and it never goes back to the players. It never goes back to the people that are in this game. These are such split-second decisions and hits and controversial situations that they're in. It has to be so hard to come in there full bore and be like, I have to let up right now because I might get a flag because I'm going to hit this quarterback. That's just insane. Their whole lives they've been taught to get in there, hit the quarterback, no, full tilt boogie, let's get them down, because these guys are strong enough and good enough athletes to pull out of these tackles and that. And same thing with receivers. I understand the hits across the middle and the targeting that has no place in the game anymore. We know the head injury stuff, we know CTE risk, concussions. We get that. I understand that one. But a hip tackle, how are these safeties and corners, some of them, supposed to get a player like Mark Andrews on the ground? This dude's an absolute freak out there. He is a huge human being. How are these guys, these little cornerbacks that might get, in a situation where they have to bring Andrews to the ground, how they get him on the ground? So if they don't get him on the ground, they might be benched or cut or whatever, pulled out of the game, whatever the situation is. And if they do and they pull him down that way, then you got a head coach like Harbaugh bitching and screaming and moaning that you're trying to take my guy out. It's no, he's trying to get the guy on the ground. There's situations where I think that some of the hits, of course, are about getting people injured. Sometimes it happens. I'm not going to be oblivious to that. But like that was a clean play. He got his ankle rolled up. It's unfortunate. Trying to make a play happened so freaking fast. It's really hard. So I'm with Tom. I think the product is worse. The offensive numbers worse. The preseason is a joke. It takes the
Amen
offense.
to that.
The offense is a few weeks to really hit their strides in the seasons. I remember teams like really starting to find their grooves in like late September and October a few years ago. And now it seems like these teams find their groove in November now, which is okay. I get it. With, the things that are going on and extending the season, less preseason games, all that stuff. But yeah, I think college football is right now a pretty good product. This season especially, I think it's a better product because it's not the same old good boy club that it's been. NIL's changed the game in terms of competitiveness. Tradition matters, but not as much as the transfer portal, NIL contracts, head coaching, COVID years, all that stuff. It's making a difference. Conference realignment as well. So I think college football is in a really good spot with the expanded playoff, with the NIL coming, grad transfers, COVID years. Like I think college football is in a good spot. The NFL, they better make some changes because I think they're slipping, and I think the stats and viewership kind of reflect my point. So, I'm not sure where you're going to take this, DB, but I appreciate you kind of. So.
I got to throw it. Shout out to my grandma. She loves Tom Brady. She commented in there. She has a strong hatred as much as me.
That's a good one, Christine. I love it. I love it.
I have to say, I would have rather had somebody else, and I'm not just coming after Brady because I hate Brady. Okay, but we're having a guy, probably one of the most coddled fucking players in the history of the NFL, come out and make these comments.
That's fair.
I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, you couldn't touch the guy. And then when you touch the guy, whatever. I agree with him on the product and the collegiate athletes coming up and not being ready. But, I go back to the 199th pick in the 6th round. You played like shit. I just got an update there. Hold on a minute. Stupid. I saw you come into the league. You look back at Brady's stats. You weren't fucking prepared. I'm going to be quite honest with you, but you played like a 6th-round draft pick. That's just how it is. And I go, so the one that's been pissing me off with the player initiative, and I looked up the definition, and I constantly see these plays, not even Steelers, but Alex Highsmith's sack last week. So we're going to call roughing the passer because Thompson moves his fucking head, and it clips his helmet. Highsmith's helmet clips him. And when he falls to the ground, he actually inadvertently moves his fucking body out of the way, and you still hit him. So I don't know what that's great with the player initiative. It doesn't have to do with the players not being prepared. It's the goddamn refs from higher ups or what. But I got Gene Sarator saying, "Oh, there's not a foul in there." But okay, well then why are the refs why aren't they they're calling New York? Why the fuck aren't they calling you? You know what I mean? It's just the officiating is shit, Nate, Trevor. It's the worst I've seen in so many years. And I'm going to tell you, because I'm on this goddamn roughing the passer. This all started when Chris Jones, when it was the Chiefs playing the Raiders. I think it was last year. Yeah, last year. Chris Jones fell on Derek Carr, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is this? We're not used to seeing this call," because he fell on top of him. And ever since then, it just kept going down. And it's whatever.
Trickle down, man.
We got players that are faster, Brady, way faster than when you came in the league. We got guys that you can't control. I don't know what you're supposed to do because, I mean, Trevor, I don't mean to put you and Nate on the spot here. How is it as violent in college? Because I only watch Penn State, but is it as violent, do you feel, as it is in the NFL?
No.
So
I don't.
Where
it's more open. The game's more open. The NFL,
Yes.
these guys can stick with each other so much faster. There's such a gap in some of the talents in college, versus the NFL. I mean, I don't know if you've watched Washington and all this year, but like
look how open the field is against them. Like they just have guys that are darts out there, and they can just throw
Yes.
it down the field. Penix can spin it and launch it out there. He's fast. Like these guys don't take any hits, you know. So like Romo Dunze, like that dude is a dart out there. He doesn't get touched. Nobody can cover this guy. Marvin Harrison, nobody can cover this guy. He's so electric and fast. And the craziest part is like, I know that's like some of the best players in college, but like they're playing against the best Division I conferences in the country, like some of them, and they're torching whole entire defenses.
Yes.
And these guys are going to come in the NFL, and I think that they're going to torch whole entire defenses for NFL standards. But like, you don't have all NFL guys on that field, so when they come into the league, there's going to be times where they get shut down. It's just the nature of the beast of the NFL. There's a lot. It's the best of the best.
Right.
So yeah, it's way more spread out in college for sure. There are some good defensive units that can lock you up. You know, Alabama and Georgia always have good ones, and Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State this year are incredible as well. But yeah, the NFL is like super, super physical. Like they can lock each other up. You got to make absolutely perfect throws all the time. You have to have perfect execution to hit the hole. Like it's different to me. You know, I don't know how you see it, Trevor, but that's how I see it. Definitely.
See if I come in on a delay right there. Okay. I'm here. I'm alive. Nothing cut out yet. No, I just echo Nate's comments. Yeah, it's more spread out in terms of the actual physical field itself. Hash marks are wider, and much more so in terms of talent disparity. It's the cream of the crop in D1. They're at this level. Everybody else at this level or at this level down here. Whereas at the NFL level, everybody is at this level pretty much. Yeah. Well, there's a few that are at this level, and then there's a lot that are at this level, and then a few down here at this level.
Yeah, right.
So by the very nature of it, it's physical. Don't get me wrong, it's still physical, but it's not nearly as dirty. The game's a little bit slower. It's a little more slow paced, and it's a little more focused on fundamentals rather than game planning and, you know, just outright trying to dominate someone else. It's more focused on strategy and putting guys in the right places to try and win the game. Whereas in the NFL, it's more about getting, it's more about, you know, a little bit more about the individual, and then more about it's a lot faster. It's a lot faster.
Yeah. Right.
A lot faster, and much less talent disparity just makes it that much closer. Like you said, Nate, guys are going to stick with guys in man coverage. Unlike, you know, your Romo Dunzes, your Marvin Harrisons of the world, guys aren't going to get open quite as easily unless you're the elite of the elite. You don't get open very easily in the NFL, even with all the rules that are in place as we speak.
Yeah.
So overall, better product right now. I'm enjoying college. Well, the high level primetime games anyway. Of course, you have your Alabama, Chattanooga type of games, but
sure.
Yeah, you're going to have those. But on a week-to-week basis in the primetime slots, and it helps that, you know, teams like the Raiders and the Jets are getting a lot of these primetime slots. So
no, I'm tired of that.
Oh, no, me too. Well, no one saw the Rodgers thing coming, so I guess people thought the Jets were supposed to be good. They throw them in a lot of primetime games, but
flex them out, please.
No, I'm liking the college product. Yeah, I'm liking the college product a lot right now, and I'm all in favor of this open market that we have. I think it needs to be a little bit more regulated, as I said before in this program. Just kind of letting the floodgates open at the outset of NIL and the transfer portal. I don't agree with how the NCAA handled that, and each of the conferences handled that, but they really just left it up to the individual school, which, you know, the schools with money, they're going to benefit. Rich get richer, and that's exactly what happened.
Right.
But, you know, like I said, I'm all in favor of it, and it'll take it. There's going to be an adjustment period here. There's going to be an adjustment period to where you start to mend this with player development and trying to get them into a pro-ready system and trying to get them pro-ready for the draft. But of course, the NFL has to do their part in that as well. It's not just on the NCAA. You gotta I don't know. I don't know what exactly the solution is. But I just know the NFL's got to figure it out, because like
Right.
we've talked about, you shorten the preseason, you bring these guys in a lot sooner, you thrust them into roles a lot sooner. There's very little like rookie quarterbacks being drafted in the top 2 rounds and them not being thrown into a starting spot within the first couple years.
Right.
There's very little of that now. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just know things have to change.
Right. I got to throw out to you then, and I'll pose it to Mr. Goodell there. So what do you do with the fans that, and I don't think we're us three are in this group, but the group of people that go to a football game to see like the 2010, Trevor, we talked about it last night, 2010 Steelers, just absolutely just
carnage.
Yeah, just, they go for the big hits, they go for the shit. You start losing that audience because it seems like, and I don't want to go further in other things in this regard, but it just seems like everything nowadays is changing in ways.
Oh, yes.
And I think people rely on sports as a release. That's why we do this goddamn podcast. You know what I mean? To talk about
100%.
What do you do then? You know what I mean, Nate? Trevor, I mean, you're gonna, but you also got to worry about the player safety. But then, you got the people that are in the back. Well, when was it, for Junior Seau? Why wasn't this initiative, set Mike Webster? You could have. I think you let it go too long before Nick Bennett in the bud.
Yep.
You cannot get out.
If I can interject here, Drew, I thought we found a good balance of player safety while still putting out a very entertaining product in the mid 2010s. Mid 2010s football. If you go back and watch a lot of those games, entertaining as hell. Yep. Entertaining is all hell. Great games. Obviously, the Steelers were humming with the 3 Bs at the time. Patriots were still in their prime. Of course, the Falcons were in their prime as well. Peyton Manning still in the league until what did he retire after the 2015 season, I believe. Eli was still around. Phillip Rivers was still around. Rodgers was in his prime. And you had a good balance of physical, but also elite play at pretty much all levels on offense.
Right.
If you could literally freeze time and make the NFL exactly how it was in like 2016, that would be perfect. That would be perfect. Because after that, we started taking things a little too far, a la, the defensive pass interference, trying to review that. I don't think they ever should have done that in the first place, but now that they started that, me and Nate agree on this, they should probably bring that back. And of course, the roughing the passer, if you land on the guy wrong, if you land on him, period, it's roughing the passer. Whereas if you did it back then, you can land on the guy. You just can't like spike him into the ground, hit him high.
Hit him late.
Hit him late. Yeah, you still can hit him late. There was an emphasis on players' safety, but not to the point where it diminished the quality of the product. And of course, the quality of the product heavily affected by that COVID year. Not discounting that at all. Heavily affected by that. That was a period none of us ever want to go through again. Which, if the trends keep rolling the way they are, we'll have to go through that in 21-19 or 21-20, which hopefully we're all dead and gone by then. But no, if you could freeze time in 2016 NFL, that'd be perfect.
Yep. I just got to throw out here too, and I think Big Ben would scoff at Brady's comments, because if you look back that year when he I forget the fucking guy's name all the time, Nagata, the guy that broke his
nose.
Haloti. It was the same season, or it
broke his nose, right?
His nose, and then the low hit when Ben got all fucked up. That's when they were really calling the it's on the refs, man. I'm sorry. It's so
honestly that was at a point where officiating was pretty good too.
Right.
It was pretty consistent. Everybody knew the rules. All the referees were well trained, and now you got Nowadays, you got a major rule change pretty much every year.
Yep.
I mean,
Hard to keep up.
I know I'm going all the way back here, but back in the 70s, 80s, the biggest major rule change was the whole 5 yards off of the receiver thing. That I'm going to give Mel Blount a lot of credit in almost single-handedly making sure those rules were installed.
Yeah.
By the way, he led the league in interceptions 3 times after those rules were installed. Just giving him a little pat on the back there, giving him his flowers. But no, it seems like we have a major rule change that's of controversy every single year now.
Yep.
Right.
It's driving me insane. And like I said, it's taken away from the game when you're throwing how many flags and stoppages of play, and you have the referees have to huddle and take a shit ton of time. That Bills game, what was going on with the officials? They could not decide to make a freaking call. They had to huddle up for 2 minutes. They had to huddle up for 2 minutes. Literally, one of the 4:30 games, or I believe the Bills were in the 4:30 slot. Yes.
Yeah, they were. Yep.
Yeah, they were in the 4:30 slot. I forget which game it was, but one of the games was done by the time the Bills game started the fourth quarter.
Right.
The referees literally had to huddle up after every freaking flag, huddle for 2 minutes, decide on a play or decide on a call, and half the time, you got scrums going. Tensions were high for that Bills-Jets game. So it's a division game, and of course the Jets are getting smoked. They were frustrated. You had a lot of scrums going on there. That didn't help things. But then you got the referees huddling for 5 minutes saying, oh, penalties on this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, offsetting penalties, repeat, they're done. It drives me up a wall. I'm not saying there's a whole lot of missed calls. There's just a lot of confusion on what needs to be called now.
Right. I agree with Trevor. I think you had some great analysis the last 5 to 10 minutes here for sure. I just wonder if they added like 2 more officials or something, even if they were like sideline or just like, would it help? Or would it even make it worse? I don't know.
I will say that real-time official that buzzes in during, like I guess kickoffs and little ticky-tacky stuff of that nature says, hey, this catch was good. Yeah. That helps. Yeah. That helps a lot. But on the penalty side, so convoluted. It's so bad. It's so uncoordinated. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. These men and women that officiate, they're asked to keep up with too much. The game's so fast. There's so many rule changes.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either.
Yeah, but I am with DB on it too. Like I think it's very inconsistent with roughing the passer. I think it's about who you are sometimes too. But yeah, I think it's I think that's one of the ones that is really a more simpler call. I think it should be anyway. But yeah, I think they get that one wrong a lot. And of course, defense, pass interference is another one. But I think that play is such a hard play to call. I think it's even harder than the roughing the passer.
It absolutely is.
It's down the field. The referee's running. It could be anywhere on the field. There could be bodies around. It could be a crazy, did he pin it? Did he control the catch? Did he get bumped in time? Like, it's so fast how many factors go into that, what you'll have to watch. So I give him a lot of credit with people with the pass interference ones, but the roughing the passer, I agree with DB on it for sure that they're getting this wrong a lot. So they need to fix that one for sure.
And the other thing, the Broncos believe free safety that just got suspended second time.
Jackson.
Okay.
Jackson.
I understand he led with his fucking head there, but there is no contact with the helmet on that play. I mean, I don't.
It's the leading with the head. It's the leading with the head. You can't lead with the head.
I mean,
I believe he launched. He launched too. Did he launch?
Yes.
He went,
right. Yeah, he launched.
Yeah, that'll do it. Doesn't matter where you hit him. You can hit him in the leg by doing that. If you lead with the helmet, you're gonna get punished.
Just wild.
Yeah, like I said, we've almost devolved in that sense at the NFL level.
I know. I'm going to say a bold thing here. I'm going to say in 5 years, Nate, Trevor, I plan on having kids here. By the time I have kids, The NFL is going to be flag. 5 years. 5 years, it's flag. It's flag football.
I don't think it'll be flag, but I think within the next 5 to 10, there's going to be a major flag football league that competes with,
I agree with that.
Other major sports. I think it'll be
Yep.
it'll be pitched as an alternative to tackle football. I think that's very possible, but I don't think the NFL is going anywhere.
Flag
It's one of the
football.
most powerful organizations in the world. I don't think it'll go anywhere. They have unbelievable amount of money and power.
Right.
So I don't think it's going anywhere yet. I don't think they'll ever change to flag. I think they'll always be around, but I think there's going to be a major flag football league that gains some momentum in the next 5 to 10 years to not directly just compete with them, but attract a new audience and a game that's a little bit safer because there's less people being born, there's less people playing football, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
More youth are in flag than tackle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Are we good? I know I sparked quite the debate there, which I wanted to do.
I think it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just nothing. I want to make it clear, everybody. It's not because Brady said it. It's just like if it kind of just taints it a
general
for me. But it taints it for me a little bit. It's just like, come on, dude. You fucking got every goddamn. You got the tuck rule. I mean, you got every goddamn call you wanted. You know what I mean? You're the front man. You want to lead the charge. Okay. Fuck you. Whatever.
There it is. That's what I wanted.
I'm just being real.
I want to be real.
I wanted Drew to drop an F-bomb on that.
I want to be real though about what DB said about Tom Brady coming out of college. There was a lot of external politics that messed with Brady's college career.
Oh yeah.
Drew Henson would like a word. He was promised the earth, moon, and the stars, and Brady was pretty good. And they gave Drew Henson every opportunity in the freaking world, and that screwed around Tom Brady's draft potential. And it honestly affected the National Football League for forever because Michigan screwed around Tom Brady. It really did. And he had to be a fifth-year senior. Although I'll say this, the dude went from 8th string his freshman year to split starter, in his senior, in his 5th year. So that's a long way to work your way to even to that point. But still, his teammates attest, including Hall of Famer Charles Woodson, one of the best players ever, that he should have been freaking starting. Like, they're like, this was ridiculous. They knew Drew Henson was good, but they rushed him in to play. And Tom Brady been working his butt off for 5 years, and now they're screwing him around. So
that was one of the better segments on that pivot episode.
Yep.
When he talked about Tom Brady, I thoroughly enjoyed his analysis on that and the whole Drew Henson drama and all that.
Yep.
I'll have to do some more research on that if I'm being honest. I wasn't fully aware of what all had happened with that, but want to get into college pick'em, fellas? We ready? I know we're running a little long this time, but we're having some pretty good conversations, I think.
Oh hell yeah!
So I'll start out with our teams. Notre Dame favored by 26 against Stanford. Penn State favored by 21 against Michigan State. If our two teams don't kick the shit out of their opponents this week, season's over. I'm not watching college football the rest of the season. Not asking you to pick anything on that. I just wanted to throw that out there just because I always have to cover my Irish and I have to cover my Nittany Lions as well. So
Notre Dame's going to kick the shit out of them, and so is Penn State.
They last year.
Yes, I've ranted about that on this program, so I will spare the viewers this one. They've been with us long enough. They don't need another rant about how Notre Dame lost to Stanford the only time I ever went to a game there. Oh
boy.
Anyway, moving on. Rivalry week, fellas. We got Texas Tech and Texas. Texas favored by 12.5. Quinn Ewers, who missed a little bit of the season, has a 16-4 touchdown interception ratio. Texas leading the all-time series 54-18. Texas Tech did win in Lubbock last year. Over-unders 54.5 on this one. What are we thinking?
Texas all the way.
To cover as well.
I'm going Texas.
Ooh, I
Yep.
don't know. What
I'm going Texas.
cover 2, Nate.
What's the over under again? I'm sorry, you cut out for a second.
No, that's all good. Over under 54.5. Spread is 12.5 to Texas. Right as I checked before this program. Anyway, that might have changed, but
I think Texas Tech covers that. Texas has been playing good, but not great. Quinn Ewers is coming back from injury. He's been okay, but not great. I think Texas will win, but Texas Tech is pesky and they want to have a big upset. So I'm going to go Texas. They'll win outright, but I think Texas Tech will cover it and they'll keep it close because the Texas offense really isn't explosive, but they grind you out and their defense is really tough. So I'm going to go with Texas.
They actually have a good defense this year.
Yeah, Texas Tech will cover that spread, I think.
I like it. Drew, you said Texas and them to cover.
Nate feels confident. I'll go. Or no, actually, no. I see that 12 there. I don't like doing.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Big spreads, man. I go confident. I always do lower. I always do alternate. I don't fucking do that. No, I wouldn't do it. I think Texas covered. Texas Tech covers that. I don't think. Yeah. No.
I'm going to go opposite you guys here. I'd be more inclined to say Texas Tech covers if the game was in Lubbock.
Yeah.
But the game is in Austin, and last time Texas Tech beat Texas at Austin, 2017. So I don't think that trend will resurface. I think the trend of Texas winning at home and winning big, I think that'll happen. Those games, they tend to be close, though. I think the last 3 were decided by a possession. So I could easily see that happening. And then one program in the Pac-12 I want to give flowers to. I really haven't given it to them on this program. Arizona. They're 8-3, having their best season since 2014. Looking to have their first 10-win season since then, where they actually made it to the Fiesta Bowl. They lost to Boise State in that Fiesta Bowl game. They play Arizona State this weekend on the road. Arizona favored by 10.5. Over-under is 50.5. Does Arizona keep it going, or does their 10-win season hopes get dashed by the Sun Devils?
I like Arizona in the game to win. You said something earlier, Trevor. The rich get richer. Nobody thought Arizona was rich in terms of recent success. But what they don't lack is short of resources. They have a huge college. They have one of the largest universities in the country. They got 70,000 kids that go there. And they have a ton of money.
To that point, Nate, they're kind of going through. They underestimated their budget by like $200 million.
Yeah,
they're kind of going through that right now. But they still have. They're still pretty wealthy. They're probably going to cut a bunch of programs, but football will not be one of them.
Yeah, they have a zillion programs. They have too many. They're going to cut a lot of them. So I'm sorry that a lot of these professors and support staff are going to be out of jobs soon. I think they personally just lied to them than saying that their jobs were safe. Such a very bad promise to have, especially considering so many of their degrees are online. They have one of the largest online universities in the world. Sorry about that. Another tangent. Don't come after University of Arizona. You did it to yourselves. Be better.
It's well documented. They screwed up.
Yes, exactly. Not just
well documented. Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is they spend a ton of money. They have a lot of money to spend. They are a rich get richer team and program that has turned might just be a 1-year wonder, but I think could turn the tide here because they have a lot of money and they can dish it out and they can get a lot of people. They're not too far from California. They're not too far from Colorado, Texas. Some of the Midwest people can go out there. Arizona has increasingly better football in their home state, but I know I'm getting long-winded, but I'm going to roll with the Wildcats. I think they'll get to 10 wins. Arizona State, I think, will cover that because it's a rivalry game. They're not having a good year. Arizona State is consistently one of the most disappointing teams in college football year after year. I think everybody always has way too high hopes for them. They just had some sanctions with Herm Edwards, Adam Brenneman. You might remember this name. Marvin Lewis was on the staff there. Western PA guy turned Bengals head coach. I'm going to go with Arizona. They've had a great year.
So I'm going to roll with the Wildcats in that one.
Arizona, Trevor, all the way.
To cover 10.5 as well.
Hell yeah. Let's get them 10 wins this season. Come on now.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I'll go with that as well. I would be more inclined to pick ASU to cover the spread on that one. I think Arizona could win by exactly 10. I could see that easily happening, but Arizona definitely going to win the game. And I think they'll get a pretty nice bowl game for them. Hopefully they get the right matchup and are able to get that first 10-win season in close to a decade. So another big rivalry game, and with two teams on weird trajectories. North Carolina and NC State. North Carolina is actually favored by 3 in this game. Over-under is 55.5, but of course, North Carolina coming off that pretty bad loss to Clemson. Turned the ball over 3 times, and that one had a pretty poor second half. NC State coming into this game, they have won 4 games in a row. So might be a decent game to kind of throw on a separate screen, if I'm being honest with you. But and again, this one a little bit tighter of a spread, a little bit tougher to pick.
Yeah. UNC has gone 1-1 with their rivalry games this year. They beat the pants off South Carolina, lose to Clemson in their other rivalry game.
Yes.
NC State, like you said, going the right direction. They're one of the hottest teams in the ACC. UNC, had possible national title hopes, like they seem to always have every freaking year now for some reason. Mac Brown's a pretty good coach, but it is the ACC.
May was supposed to be like a top 10 pick.
Yep. Oh, he's still going to be a top 10 pick, no question.
Yeah.
He might be the number 1 pick. I think he'll be 2, but I think he could be number 1.
So it'll probably be 2. I think Caleb's still first.
Yeah, I think so too. But some people think otherwise. But anyways, yes. I think UNC is going to win this game. I don't know what they're going. I don't know what their deal is. They have just been so up and down this year. They have some terrible losses, but then they have some good wins too. Some gutsy performances. I'm hoping they're motivated after this. But this easily could be May's last game for UNC because he's probably sitting the bowl game. I think. I don't know. He doesn't seem like that kind of kid, but I think he still understands the financial implications of him sitting. So I'm going to go with UNC. Yeah. I think that they can beat NC State. NC State and UNC are both so fraudulent to me. They never understand what kind of team they are. They're always so overhyped, and then they win a big game, then they're like, we're going to lose this one, though. They do it every freaking year. It is so frustrating to pick them. I can't stand it. Enough of this spiel, UNC.
Going UNC too. I just enjoy the hell out of their quarterback. I love him.
Oh yeah, no, he is very good. He is very good. I'm going to go NC State though, just because of the trajectory element, the fact that NC State's at home, and the fact that I don't know, like you said, Nate, I don't know how motivated Drake May is to play anymore. He kind of has a lot, like you said, he's pretty much a lock for a top 10 pick.
Yep.
And NC State, they just, I don't know. To me, they seem more committed to winning football games at this late stages of the season. So I'll take NC State.
Ever since they were tabbed as being a basketball school, those guys have been pissed.
Oh yeah!
Holy crap!
Mm-hmm.
Don't say that to NC State. Apparently, don't say that to people in Raleigh. Man, oh man, that's been pissing them off.
To quote probably the most famous North Carolina resident to come out of UNC, they took that personally.
Yep,
and they've been running with it ever since, 4 in a row, and I think they're going to make it 5. That would put them at 9 wins. Nate, is that right? NC State is 8-3, I think.
Yeah. Which they were ranked. They were ranked part of this year, then not ranked because they kind of hit a skid. And I think they changed quarterbacks, and then they said you're a basketball school, and then they got all pissed, and now they're right back in the running here.
Oh yeah. It's a good time. Good time to be an NC State fan. Also, good time to be an Oregon fan right now because I want to talk about Oregon State and Oregon. Oregon favored by a couple touchdowns in this one, minus 13.5, over under 62.5. Unsurprisingly, considering how much both of these teams can put the ball in the end zone. Bo Nix, he's one of the favorites to win the Heisman. He's only behind Jaden Daniels at this point, and that's because literally nobody can stop the LSU offense. But at the same time, LSU really can't stop anybody on defense, so it's kind of making them look bad. But Bo Nix, 3,500 yards this season, 35 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, by the way. Only two. Oregon State last week, they took Washington to the limit, if I'm being fully honest. They lost by 2, and if you remember, there was a safety in that game, as well as a missed field goal, I believe, on Oregon State's part. So they easily could have won that game, and that could be a lot tighter of a spread. Then Oregon scored no less than 35 in each of their last 5 games. And their defense has been pretty stellar too. Season high points given up is 27. And of course that was to Caleb Williams and the USC Trojans. I'll actually go first here. I like Oregon, but I don't like them to cover the spread. And I like Bo Nix to throw 4 touchdowns.
I go Oregon too.
Yeah, I'm going Oregon.
Yeah.
I think they're the best team in the Pac-12. I think they're going to prove that in the Pac-12 championship game when they see Washington again. It wasn't a fluke. Washington's definitely good, but I think Oregon's better.
100%.
Yeah, Washington's very good. They've won a lot of close games in recent weeks. They give up some points. Oregon, I think, is a more well-rounded team, and I think that loss motivated them. I like Oregon getting to the playoff. So, yeah, I'm going to pick Oregon in this game. But I think Oregon will win by more. I think Oregon will cover.
They'll cover?
I think the sails are kind of, the ship has sailed with Oregon State. I think their best football is behind them.
That's fair. And to your point on that Washington game, most of that game was played in slop.
Yes.
So credit to Washington for winning in a different style than they're used to. Penix, I believe, had his first game under 200 passing yards on the season. So
they grinded it out.
Yeah, they grinded it out, still somehow found a way to win. But yeah, so Oregon, you like them to win the Pac-12 championship, make it to the playoff.
I do.
Yeah, and you've been consistent with that as well, even after the loss. I mean, hey, we are a missed, 35, 40-yard field goal away from potentially a whole different narrative coming into this week.
Yep, definitely. That sucked. That cost me a pick'em league, and ever since that game, I don't think I've won a matchup since. So thanks a lot.
I fully believe that. Yeah.
Nope.
Thanks, Oregon. Whoever your kicker is.
Good.
Yeah, thanks a lot, bud.
Yeah. Well, and of course, the game of the week. As a matter of fact, this game is so big, it's literally called The Game. Ohio State, Michigan. Game day will be in Ann Arbor. And I know Drew, I believe Joe Kosinski's going to this game. So shout out to him. Shout out to him. He's going to the Michigan State, Penn State game the day before and to the Michigan game the day after. So yeah, he's going to have a fun weekend. Michigan in this game favored by 3, over under 46.5, and they actually lead the all-time series 60, 51, and 6 they are. Though Michigan has only won 5 contests this millennium, so Ohio State in recent memory has dominated this rivalry. Other than the last couple years, Michigan has actually beat them last couple years. And of course, a couple of Heisman candidates featured in this game. Blake Corum, 888 rushing yards on the season and 20 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison, over 1,000 yards already and 13 touchdowns on the season. Ironically, though, these teams are number 1 and number 2 in terms of points per game on defense. I believe it's Michigan averaging 9.0 points per game. OSU averaging 9.3 points per game, and the offenses are averaging 38 points and 33.5 points, respectively, Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan also leading the nation in yards per game on defense. Buckeyes are third. Harbaugh still not going to be on the sidelines. And of course, the news came out that Chris Partridge was fired over allegations that he destroyed computer evidence related to the sign stealing scandal that's going on. Ohio State coming off a dominant win over Minnesota, whereas Michigan, they were contested by the Terps, which, the Terps tend to do that against good teams. They tend to get it within a score, but they usually don't win a lot of those games, and that rang true last week. Michigan, a lot of their players are saying that this whole Harbaugh suspension thing is more of a motivation for them. They say they're going to run through a brick wall for Harbaugh. But, Ohio State has proven they got more pedigree than we gave them credit for at the start of the season. So I'm going to defer to last on this one because I have I have some thoughts.
I like Ohio State in this.
I like the Michigan Wolverines. I think the NCAA is going to have a mess. I think that they're going to have a mess. They're going to have a Michigan in the playoff and a team that might run the table. And then they're going to have some explaining to do on if they have to take these wins away and does Harbaugh get to come back? What happens? So I really think the NCAA could deal with that. And I think Michigan is going to squeak by Ohio State. And then Ohio State fans are going to be absolutely livid pissed about Ryan Day. And they are going to want his head. But what they don't get is this guy is legit. He's just been unlucky in this particular game. And they still might get in the playoff even if they lose to Michigan. So, but yeah, I'm going to go Michigan. I think that I kind of want the NCAA to kind of have to deal with it. So I'm going to go with Michigan and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all over Michigan as well. They've proven they can win without Harbaugh on the sidelines. So I think it's going to be another grinded out type of a game. Michigan controls the clock. Corum just runs absolutely all over him like he's done to Penn State many times. No, I like Michigan. I like Michigan. I don't know if they'll cover that 3-point spread, but yeah, it's going to be a tight one. Obviously going to be the most entertaining, most look forward to game of the week. And like you said, Nate, the implications after the fact might even be more entertaining than the game itself. So
absolutely,
we'll see. And I to touch on that too, the Big Ten screwed the NCAA. Just my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
With how quick they acted on it.
Yep,
Just
I
my
agree.
opinion.
I agree. No, I'm with you, dude, because I think that punishment needs to be worked on with the Big Ten and the NCAA collectively. That needs to be an agreed upon decision. If the NCAA was consulting the Big Ten and they said, on behalf of the NCAA and with consultation of the NCAA, the Big Ten has announced this, but it's like, no, the Big Ten just announced it. And I get that. There's situations where that can happen. The NCAA doesn't have to step in. This is one where I think that the Big Ten rushed it slightly a little bit. I know there's a ton of evidence out there, but they also need to sift through some stuff too. I was surprised that anything happened this season. I thought it was going to be something that they looked back on and then did something. So it'll be interesting to see if the Big Ten does more. I probably doubt they will. I think it's kind of in the NCAA's hands now. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think they're going to have a mess with this here. Michigan's a really good team. They got a top couple quarterback coming out. JJ McCarthy runs like a 4.4. Sling it. Corum is one of the best running backs in the country, and they have the best trenches in the country. I think their 100%. Line's insane. They're nuts.
Both on offense and defense. Yes.
Yeah, they're so physical on both sides of the ball. So I think that's what's going to win them the game. If they can, really, here's what it comes down to: can they check Marvin Harrison at all? If they can, I think they win. That's literally huge.
I'm in agreement.
I'm not putting this game on Marvin. I'm not. I really am not. But he's that big of a difference maker for sure. He's that talented.
Oh, absolutely. No, nothing you said there that I disagree with there, Nader. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Going to be a fun game. Going to be a fun Be a fun close to the NCAA season as well. By the way, they finally put Washington in the top 4 in the CFP rankings. So,
Wow.
yeah, I believe they flip-flop Michigan and Ohio State. And, of course, Georgia's still on top, but they did toss Washington in there. They flipped Florida State to 5.
Yep. And they should. They take into consideration how healthy your team is and what players you have and how that's going to impact
Correct.
the outcomes of games.
Correct.
And not having Travis. Sorry, but your
They
weak ass
still look good without him, but it was North Alabama.
North Alabama. I'm sorry. Like,
Right.
did anybody even know that they had a football team till Saturday? Because I kind of forgot. You know, sorry, I did. I knew they were purple and white. That's about
Purple
it.
and white. They
Yeah,
have K-State's colors. Good for them.
yeah. So, whatever. I like the decision. Washington, I think, should be 4. I'm with that.
Yep. All right. I'm all good on college football then. That was
Oh, all right.
yes, sir.
I got one thing to add, and then I'll
Yes.
be done.
Yes,
I just want to give a shout out to Coach Aaron Matson from UNC field hockey. She became the youngest head coach in the history of the NCAA to win a national championship. She's the head coach of UNC field hockey. She's 23 years old, and she won a national championship as head coach.
Oh, wow.
This young woman has won 5 straight NCAA titles, 4 as a player and now as a head coach. She was interviewing for this head coaching
Jeez.
position last year while she was a player. Like, that's how talented this young lady is. So, Aaron Matson, congrats to you and your former teammates turned players, some of them, and congrats on their 5th straight national championship in field hockey. That's quite a dominant run there for the
Wow.
Tar Heels. So, shout out to Coach Matson, just 23 years old. She's just kind of figuring out life, but she stepped into this role after taking over for a legendary head coach, and she's got him rolling still. So, good for her.
Hell yeah.
She's
Oh, yeah.
She's the Steve Kerr of collegiate field hockey. I love it.
Yeah, man. She just
Yeah.
plug away and just keep on going.
Right.
I dig it.
Right.
I dig it.
Yeah. But anything else, fellas?
I think that was enough, DB. This is a long episode, my man.
That's all right.
Yeah,
No, hey,
yeah.
we had a good time and a lot of things covered here. Everybody mark your calendars. Next week's going to be a big episode. We have special guests. Got to get a hold of him. But Jeff Whaler, we said last week, going through the pro ranks right now with the Blue Jays organization. He had a very collegiate stellar career, and we're excited to hear, pick his brain and hear about his journey through the sport of baseball and, other sports as well. He was very good at basketball. I think there was a little football in there. Hopefully Cole, myself, Nate, and Trevor, and our special guest, Jeff, will be here next Tuesday, 8:00. And you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a good conversation for younger athletes. The language will be better. We want to put out a good product. No, it'll be fun though. I think me and Nate and Trevor know of Jeff, stellar athlete in our area. So another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys here. All gas, no breaks. We'll be back again, like I said, next Tuesday at 8. And have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe out there, and God bless. And this was another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys. Appreciate you, fellas. And cut. Nope, didn't hit the